Here we go. The breaking news Woj bomb earlier this morning with Unsportsmanlike. Could it be that little Danny Hurley from New Jersey is coming to the Lakers? All the coverage, all the breaking news angles, all the stories with T-Raj, Sweet T, and of course, the man behind Lakers Talk. The man behind Lakers Talk Daily. The man behind the Toyota Lakers Countdown to Tip-Off. The man we called Playoff Slee. Alan Sliwa. We've got you covered all day long. Plus, NBA Finals Game 1 tonight. You'll hear it here at 5:30 p.m. And I will never forget, happy birthday to the one and only producer Emily.
I love you, but you are not serious people.
Happy birthday, Em. Let's get to it. Travis and Sliwa on a Hurley Thursday. Right now.
Yeah! How about that? You got Chris to give the Travis Lee show some live imaging, Em. How about that? All it took was your birthday. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday. That's
Emily, happy. Let's start there. This whole thing of this Hurley stuff kind of get in the way of Emily's birthday. What the hell do the Lakers think they're doing?
Hijacking her day.
It's
what the hell do they
the
think
NBA
they're
Finals,
doing?
Hijacking my day.
Well, I'm okay with it hijacking the NBA Finals. We'll get to that because the Lakers, they proved, if nothing else, that the Lakers as a brand are a far bigger story than any actual basketball game being played.
You're right about that.
The finals are happening. Everybody's like, yeah, cool. I don't give a damn. Let's talk about the Lakers maybe hiring a college coach to be their next guy. But happy birthday, Em. Jorge brought you a beautiful cake this morning.
Yeah.
Brought you a
nice.
big old balloon and a little mini piñata that I think he told me is stuffed with cash, so you should smash that thing open.
With the bats that we have left over from the celebrity softball.
Exactly.
Yeah, All-Star. But yeah, if you're watching us on YouTube, you can see the balloon behind me. Thank you guys. Thanks for all the birthday wishes on Twitter. It's really sweet to know you guys are there for me.
I came in with mariachis. I came in with a little piñata. I came in with a big old balloon and a big
awesome.
fruit tart.
Absolutely. So
Okay, Em. So just real quick here, what's the plan today? What's on the agenda for you?
So this morning, I went to my favorite bagel shop. I got some bagels this morning, and then did not get a scooped bagel. Put that on the list of the draft things for today. And then I'm gonna go walk the Strand this afternoon, and I'm gonna get dinner with my best friends. And
Damn good day.
that's a pretty tough day to beat.
Yeah.
That is
Damn
a
good day right there.
pretty tough day to beat for sure. And we get to talk about the Lakers all day. I know that's
thing.
something that is, will make your perfect birthday even more perfect along the way. Very quickly, and then we're going to get right to Dan Hurley and the idea of him being the next Laker coach. I saw the picture this morning of you and your entire family. I know that you have 3 sisters, obviously mom and dad, but I'd never seen the 6 of you in one picture. And then you told me the story. Slee, they take the same picture. You said at Christmas, is it, Em?
Christmas every year after Mass.
Same spot in the house every year, and I'm assuming you guys are all kind of in the same spots year to year?
Same spots at year to
Love
year.
that.
You guys got some cool traditions in the Hebel household.
I think my parents are always thinking about long-term memories and nostalgia, and I think it's really lovely. And I think I'm going to enjoy showing that maybe to my kids one day, what I looked like throughout the years.
It's very cool.
Very
So, Woj bomb in the middle of the night. Jorge, you were up. I woke up this morning, my usual time, about 5:15, pick up my phone, I look, and I see a text from Jorge. And I'm like, wow, this is early for him. I thought maybe you might not be feeling well or whatever it is. And I look and send 3:40 something in the morning.
Breaking news.
The Lakers are really close to hiring Dan Hurley as their next head coach. Of course, he is the 2-time defending national championship winning coach at UConn. This was one of the best kept secrets, if that's in fact what happened, that the Lakers have had in quite some time. What was your first reaction, Al?
I think the shock of it first, the shock of, wait a minute here, we just been talking about, I keep saying, guys, it's just a matter of time. I mean, it's Shams that's talking about it. It's Woj that's talking about it. It's Windhorst that's mentioned it. Everything's leaning towards J.J. Redick. We've basically broke down what we think of J.J. Redick and his chances over the last 3 weeks. So my initial reaction was just complete shock. Like, what are you talking about? What do you mean it's not J.J. Redick? And then it's not just this other random name. It's Dan Hurley. This is the face of college basketball these last couple of years. I don't think there's been a team. I think it's happened in 17 years that a team's won 2 championships in a row. It's only happened once since the mid-'90s, I want to say. And I think you and I spent some time on this, and I think part of the frustration that has been around the Lakers was, okay, hey, listen, I get it. If Darvin Ham is not if you guys feel like you clearly you hired the wrong coach, all right, well, what's coming here? They fired Darvin Ham. This was over a month ago now, something along those lines. Well, what's the plan going to be? And there wasn't a name out there. We talked about Ty Lue for a little bit. We talked about Jason Kidd for a little bit. Dan Hurley is a real name. That's a big-time name, at least in my opinion. I know in the college ranks to get to the NBA, it's going to be a completely different world. But there's also some excitement here, at least from my end, that if they can make this happen, it's somebody that certainly has got some experience, obviously, in the college ranks.
I absolutely love it.
Really?
I absolutely love it because it checks every box. Now, that means nothing. That doesn't mean it's going to work, but I absolutely love it. And we're going to chew on each and every one of these things. But let me just go down box by box by box and explain to you why I think this is absolutely fantastic. Number one, they had a damn plan in place that they were able to negotiate or find out or get in contact with and take his temperature. He could take theirs and find a guy and do it with absolute secrecy, as it turns out. Because to your point, Slee, the Redick thing, all these other names were thrown out there like it's just going to happen. We're waiting for the NBA Finals to happen. And it wasn't just you and I. It was kind of just common consensus that this is how it was going to be. They did it in a way where they were able to do it, presumably, thoroughly and effectively without the prying eyes of every Laker fan and Laker reporter across the country looking over their shoulder saying what's going on. I love that part of it. It means it wasn't just I don't know, who are we going to hire? I mean, JJ Redick's cool. He does a podcast with LeBron. It seems like there was a lot more thought process that went into it. He is a passionate dude, right? That this is, and by the way, that may cut the other way.
Yeah.
Like I said, we're gonna open up all of these boxes along the way. But he brings an incredible amount of intensity to this job. He is, by almost universal consensus, really good X and O guy, right? That LeBron was talking about in one of these deep podcasts about, I love the multiple actions, multiple ball handlers, allowing everybody, like the basketball of it all is not in question. That was in question with Darvin Ham. That was somebody that's like, yeah, no, he's going to be good with the guys. He's going to get him to play hard. But no one was saying that this guy was a master tactician. Dan Hurley is incredibly well respected when it comes to that. You know what else he's really good at? Building culture. The Laker culture over the last few years has been all over the map. It's basically been, what does LeBron James want, feel, look like in any given moment? So we checked that. He's really good at developing younger players and turning them into better older players. That's something that you have to do in the NBA right now more than you may have had to do at any other point, because building super teams is getting harder and harder to do because of the economic structure. You're going to have to do it from the inside. You're going to have to do it internally. You're going to have to do it with draft picks. This is what he's done at UConn. He gets along with LeBron James, at least for now. That's important. It's just you go right on down the line. Now, a lot of these things could swing either way, but at least you can make the case that they can swing the right way on a number of these things. I'm as excited about this as anything I've been with the Lakers in quite some time, because it speaks to a vision. It speaks to both the present and the future of what this team can be. I absolutely love it.
It's kind of funny because you and I haven't really chatted at all about this, so I was kind of curious. All right, let's kind of get your take here. And listing out all the things that you mentioned, one of the things stood out to me that you said about the vision. I'm curious I want to, if this ends up happening, how it happens, I don't think is going to be the most important thing in the world, but I have some curiosity of, hey, was this something that they always had in mind? Were they really able to keep everyone guessing left while they were going right? Which that sounds very hard to believe, especially an organization like the Lakers, that no one has any inclination that this is where you were going. I'm curious if there came a point where how much of this was maybe Dan Hurley or his people saying, wait a minute here. So let me get this straight. these are the coaching candidates for the Los Angeles Lakers. This is it. There are a couple assistants that are out there. J.J. Redick, who's never coached in the NBA, never coached at an assistant level, never coached in college. I wonder how much of this, and Dan Hurley has spoke about this in the past, that he does want to eventually become an NBA coach. He just accomplished, what more really is it to accomplish? I know this is going to sound stupid, but when you've won back-to-back championships with one of the more established blue blood programs in college sports like UConn, is there really anything else to accomplish? I'm not saying getting a third one isn't special. I'm not saying getting a fourth one isn't special. What I'm saying is I just won back-to-back championships with one of the best programs in the country. There's a Los Angeles Lakers job available that if I want to get to the NBA, yes, I'm going to probably have my opportunity to coach at different places, but if I could coach the Los Angeles Lakers, I wonder how much of this was the Lakers, how much of this could have been Dan Hurley, and I know nothing's official yet, but that to me, I have some curiosity on of how that developed, and if it eventually happens, maybe it doesn't matter how we got here. The only thing that matters is that Dan Hurley becomes their next coach.
And it's still not signed, sealed, and delivered, but it does seem that if the Redick thing felt like it was on the 1 yard line a day or two ago,
this is an inch.
This feels like where they're bringing out that index card
yeah.
to measure whether or not the ball's actually in the end zone the way it has been. Laker fans, we're going to want to hear from you all day long. What do you think about the impending and potential hire of Dan Hurley? 877-710-ESPN, 877-710-3776. Of the four of us that are here on the show every day, you're the person that is the most plugged in to college basketball. You've probably, observed him more intimately than.
Hey, my team lost twice to him.
Exactly.
Yeah. Well, I mean,
all right.
Okay, go ahead.
Easily the most hated probably coach in college basketball. As fiery as it gets, if he's not your guy, you want to see him lose every single night. Cuts, slices, and dices the rest of the coaches and the league in NCAA when it comes to just X's and O's. But if he's your guy, yeah, you don't really care what anybody else thinks. I think the development thing that you talked about, Trav, and the development that I think the Lakers are looking at potentially with guys, you got Rui there, you got Austin Reeves there, you got Max Christie there, you got some of these other younger players. Listen, he's as big as it gets. It really is. And I'm joking around saying, hey, look at me.
You got it.
San Diego State, 2 years in a row, got demolished by UConn. But you know who else did?
Everybody got demolished.
I was going to say, you know who else did? Anybody else that was in the tournament and was a part of that conference. So I think it shows that, yeah, this dude's real deal. No question about it.
I have some different thoughts. I woke up this morning and I had oh, really? This is where we're going? And maybe we can talk about that later.
All right. The oh, really of it all is, I think I know what it is, but I want to hear what you say. I want to hear what Laker fans have to say about this. Do you like this? Do you hate this? Do you love this? 877-710-ESPN, 877-710-3776. Also, it is not only a Laker Day. It is not only Emily's birthday. It is also a Ticket Thursday on 710 ESPN. Imagine Dragons are adding a third night at the Hollywood Bowl, Saturday, October 26th. And we've got tickets to give away all day long on 710. Just wait to hear the cue to call. Then be caller number 7 at 877-710-ESPN, and you can win a pair of tickets to Imagine Dragons at the Hollywood Bowl on Ticket Thursday on 710 ESPN. The Lakers getting very close to hiring Dan Hurley as the head coach of the team. That's coming up next. And the oh really of it all. It's Travis Lee, 710 ESPN.
Since Sliwa Show. Thursday, we'll call it a Hurley Thursday. We're all over it. Interact with us, react with us, stick with us. Don't touch the bunyo. Keep coming back. Hurley Thursday keeps rolling on 710.
People dream high in the quiet of the night. You know that I
The proverbial ripples on the pond, right? That not only are the Lakers, depending on how you want to look at it, they're right about to do it, they're close to doing it, that they're talking to, that they're having discussions with. If, in fact, it does happen, even if it doesn't happen, like everything that happened, what does it mean for college sports? What does it mean for the other candidates? What does it mean for the guys on the team? There are just so many things to get into with the Dan Hurley Woj bomb that dropped in the middle of the night last night. Is Jorge, you were up feeding Gael in the middle of the night?
I was in the middle of the night.
Maybe he's a basketball fan. He's getting you ready.
Maybe.
You should have just dropped it if you're already up. Woj was still probably sleeping.
Okay, so
for him.
What is the mechanics of that whole thing, right? I mean, obviously, Woj has sources in every team, in every agency, and everywhere else. Is it just one of those rules that, hey, listen, I don't care what time of day, what day of the week, just if there's news, call me. Is he picking up the phone at 3 a.m. every day? Is that just the life of Woj?
I think that's the life of all these guys. It has to be. Because you know what happens? If you don't answer and you don't pick up, isn't it just going to go to the other person that's going to wake up? I mean, yeah, let's just say that he's waking up and doing whatever he's got to do.
All right, we're going to get to your phone calls here in just a couple of minutes. 877-710-ESPN. So, Al.
Yeah.
Was this the result of a really well-executed misdirection plan, which is, hey, by the way, J.J. Redick,
Yeah.
James Borrego, hey, there's the Kenny Atkinson, like just all the different names that got thrown out there, while all the while they had zeroed in on their number one target, Dan Hurley, that they were able to talk to, interview, just have conversations with about his philosophical approach, maybe negotiate some contract details, because according to a number of these reports, the Lakers are going to go big, long-term, high dollar to lock this thing down, which is something that they really have not done since maybe Phil Jackson a million years ago. So that's something new. Or, because to me, that is, if that's how this thing came together, that's awesome. Because what that indicates to me is strategic thinking, strategic planning, long-term and short-term goals. And this man, I think, potentially could check both of those boxes. And if that's what this is, even if the whole thing blows up, and I know, Emily, you have thoughts on this, and we'll get to it in a second, that his very, very volcanic personality ultimately just doesn't work in the NBA, at least it makes some sense on the surface. Or, as you may, you hinted at, Al, was this just a, did anybody call Dan Hurley? or Dan Hurley's people reaching out and saying, hey, I know you're getting close with Redick, but my guy might have some interest in this? Because that, to me, now maybe they'll just stumble into the right guy, but if this was not by design, it really does kind of change the way that I look at this.
Well, I think by design, as long as you get it right, I don't need the design to be perfect. In a perfect world, it is this ultimate game plan where they got everybody fooled, but they had their guy and they were working on it from the background. Look, my gut would tell me that I don't think that's what happened.
Which one?
I don't. My gut does not tell me that they were telling everybody J.J. Redick for the last 4 weeks, but they were working on Dan Hurley.
Why not?
I think you got too many close reporters that are a part of this entire thing that were all pointed towards J.J. Redick. Too many people that are connected that were all pointing towards, this is the direction that the Lakers are going. These are the candidates that they're going after. Hey, look at J.J. Redick, look at J.J. Redick, kind of hyping up J.J. Redick more than they probably need to. I don't think that just all of a sudden the Lakers became the FBI, the CIA, and undercover, and were able to completely disguise all of that.
It's an interesting idea, but it's not hard to do, right? That the reporters A, B, C, D, E, F, G are saying, what are you doing? Well, we're talking to all these people, okay?
Mm-hmm.
And you just let the Redick thing kind of go. We're talking to him. Yeah, we're interested in this, that.
ESPN wants to talk about Redick because it's one of their guys. We're
filling in all the blanks, right? We hate a dearth of information. That if we don't have information, we'll fill it with just speculation. So we're going to do that. Keeping a secret is not hard. If I say, listen, you are a candidate for this job. I'm talking to Dan Hurley. But if this gets out, we're done. You're the only person I'm telling, and I know I haven't told anybody. So if it gets out, I know that you told somebody. This is how we're going to start to build trust from the very beginning. I need to do this secretly so it can really kind of go into this thing. I'm not saying that your theory, Al, doesn't hold water. It does, but I do disagree with you where you're saying it doesn't matter as long as they get to the right destination. Sometimes you just get lucky, but to be successful, you can't just be lucky. You got to have a plan. Because while maybe this is an area where you stumbled into the right guy just because, there's going to be a decision after that, and a decision after that, and a decision after that. And if it's not done strategically, then just one good result doesn't really change a whole lot.
And we could get back to the strategy in just a second. So let me just use as an example a franchise. Let's say I told you that the Miami Heat were looking for a head coach.
Mm-hmm.
And everybody thought Miami was going to hire J.J. Redick, and then they went out and got Dan Hurley. Then I would tell you, yeah, they were playing chess while everybody else was playing checkers, because I know Pat Riley's there. Okay, that there's certain franchises. Again, if this is the conversation, that I'm gonna give the benefit of the doubt on that part of it. I don't know if when the dust settles, and this is something that the Lakers have, that a lot of other franchises just don't get this opportunity. You know how you and I talk that, hey, if the Lakers got to rebuild, they don't have to rebuild like everybody else? That's not typically – the Lakers can skip some steps that other teams can't skip. The Oklahoma City Thunder can't skip steps. They can't screw up on A, B, C, and D, because if they do, that's going to set them back much further than it would set back a franchise like the Lakers. But to go back to your point of it's important how they got here. Was this strategic by the Lakers? Let's just use this as an example. Maybe Dan Hurley, over the last week or two, this got kind of hot because it became realistic for Dan Hurley as well, saying, you know what, guys, maybe what else am I supposed to do here at UConn? Look at what's happening to the college landscape. Will the Lakers' job become available again at the right timing of where I am, right? Because the reality is the Lakers' job becomes available way too often. We all know that. But will the timing be the right timing with the Lakers? And that's obviously on the table right now.
Let's try our first call today, 877-710-ESPN. Ooh, like I'm not going here first. Pebble Beach? You kidding me? Matt in Pebble Beach? What's up, Matt?
Yeah, I'm in Pebble Beach. Grew up a Laker fan, but I live in Monterey.
I'm sorry,
what hole are you on?
Sorry, buddy.
What hole are you on right now?
I wish I was on 16. My first eagle of my life was from the fairway on 16. Yeah, I guess as far as Hurley goes, first of all, I'm absolutely ecstatic if it happens, but kind of like Flea's saying, I wonder what you guys think about, because we see players do this thing all the time where I might sign with the Lakers so they can leverage their team for more money. Like, I wonder if you think that's a possibility.
So, Matt, you don't even have to go to players. Stay with the coaches. You don't think Jason Kidd used the leverage on the Dallas Mavericks, using the Lakers as a threat? You don't think Ty Lue Trav, think about this. Jason Kidd and Ty Lue both got extensions because the Lakers were interested, right? They both got extensions. The reason why I don't think this is leverage for Dan Hurley, you don't need the Lakers for leverage if you're Dan Hurley. You just don't. How much more money is he going to get? How many more years is he going to get? UConn will give him whatever he wants. This is not hey, his contract's about to expire with UConn, and if they don't up the ante as far as money goes, he's going to go walk away. I don't think it's leverage. I don't know, Trav, if you feel the same way. I think he can get whatever he wants from UConn. I think that has more to do with the allure of the job.
Well, maybe economically he might. Maybe he can't. I don't know. I would imagine that the Lakers can swing a much heavier bat than any university can. I just don't think that they're playing by the same rules. But I think this is why the leverage thing is unlikely. Two big reasons. Number one, Dana O'Neill, she covers college basketball for The Athletic, had the following to say about this. Sources say UConn practiced today. They had a team meeting with Hurley. The deal is not done with the Lakers. Also, for what it's worth, UConn still hasn't offered a new deal post this title. Last extension last year. The decision timeline is iffy, but hopes for a resolution by the end of the weekend. So that the leverage thing is that. I don't know if he meets with his team to talk about, hey, look, guys, I am in the conversation with the Lakers if it's not really close to being done. Here's the other thing. What they can't offer him is what only the NBA can offer, and in particular, the Lakers, an opportunity to play and coach in the best league in the world. The college basketball is not that, with the best players in the world. To take a marquee, a Tiffany brand like the Lakers and restore it to its past place of prestige as far as winning championships goes. The Lakers are always the Lakers, but it's been a weird decade or so. I know there's a title in there, but it's been a weird decade where they're all over the place. So there's that. The UConn can't compete with that. But I think most importantly, why I don't think this is a negotiating tactic, this would be so. And again, this is college basketball we're talking about, so I'm aware of the irony of what I'm about to say. That would be some really underhanded, dirty, you-know-what. To do this publicly, to throw your players into a potential tailspin because they've got to go find another place to play if he leaves.
They would have 30 days to find another place to play if Dan Hurley leaves. To do this publicly as a way to wrench a few more years and a few more $1 million out of somebody, even by college basketball standards, that's crazy scummy. But if anybody did it, it would be Dan Hurley.
You have a thing with him, don't you?
He is.
Oh, he's not likable at all. This guy is freaking.
He is a he's a you-know-whatter. I don't know how else to describe it. He is a tough guy.
By the way, you can say it, whatever it is, because it's your birthday. The FCC allows it only if it's your birthday.
Birthday dispensation.
Yes.
I have lots of thoughts about Dan Hurley, and I do want to get into them later.
All right, so I think I know what one of them is, and I do think it is one of the, I love it unless it is the exact thing that they don't need. That's coming up next. It's Travis Lee, 710 ESPN. Got gray again, but you know what's coming. It's supposed to be 90 degrees in the valley this weekend. It is supposed to be hot, which means that summer's here, which means your AC needs to be running at its absolute best, right? And NextGen not only can come out and give you the AC tune-up that you need to make sure that your system's running all season long and it's at its absolute best, it's also plumbing, right? And right now you can get an $88 drain cleaning. That's right, $88 for a drain cleaning, and they're going to add in free plumbing camera inspections as well. So if you have that slow drain in your house, and really, who doesn't, just call 833-3-NEXTGEN. That's 833-3-NEXGEN. Say goodbye to all of your AC, heating, or plumbing problems. Call 833-3-NEXTGEN, NEXGEN, or visit NextGen Aaron Plumbing to schedule your appointment today.
We'll call it a Hurley Thursday. We're all over it. Interact with us, react with us, stick with us. Don't touch the bunyo. Keep coming back. Hurley Thursday keeps rolling on 710.
Hurley Thursday, birthday Thursday. Emily celebrating her birthday today.
We're playing some of my favorite songs at the show. So this one is Northern Attitude by Noah Kahn. I'm seeing him 2 weeks.
At the Hollywood Bowl? Mm-hmm. Oh, that'll be amazing.
I'm really excited.
Take Jorge. He needs to see the Hollywood Bowl.
I'm good, dog. It's like
You
The
wouldn't
Sopranos.
hate this music, but
You know I don't sell hard, right? It's not my style. I think you should go, and I'll leave it at that.
All right, cool.
100%.
I think you'd like it.
I'll find an act that I might enjoy. Yeah. And then
For sure, but
By the way,
yeah.
can I just point out your sales job real quick?
Yeah.
That was pretty spot on. I'm not going to sell this too hard. You even put both of your hands up to everybody like, listen, I'm not pushing.
Yeah.
I'm not pushing. And then you walked away after that. I like that sales
I
job.
think you'd like it, and I will leave it at that. Did you get a birthday win at trivia last night, Em? You've been on a little bit of a trivia heater?
Yeah. So we won yesterday again, and again, I hope that I don't think any of you guys will get this because I don't know if you guys watch Harry Potter, but our trivia name was. It's Furiosa, not Furiosa.
not Leviosa. It's
Yeah.
Leviosa.
You'll get it if you're a Harry Potter fan. It's a very
Hermione.
iconic
Oh,
line.
I thought it was the Mad Max movie that's out right now,
No, it is.
Furioso.
It was a combo of that. So I was doing
okay.
a reference to Furiosa, the movie, and the Harry Potter thing, and I was trying to be clever with that. And our trivia guy had no idea the reference to the Harry Potter thing, and so whenever he read it, he'd be like, "All right, it's Furiosa, not Furiosa." Has 60 points or whatever it was. And I'm like, okay, but no, I'm excited. It's fun.
So not only was it Emily's birthday today, a Woj bomb in the middle of the night. Dan Hurley is reportedly very close to becoming the next head coach of the Lakers. I think the two things that even casual basketball people know about Dan Hurley is that he's been the head coach of the UConn Huskies the last couple of years, and they've won 2 national championships, and he is a very, very good tactician basketball coach. He knows what he's doing, puts his guys in the right place, gets them ready for the NBA, et cetera. We'll talk more about that in a second. But the second, and maybe it's actually the first thing, he runs hot. And he gets teed up a lot. He just wears out referees. His practices are legendarily brutal. That he grinds on his players. That he will throw temper tantrums. He just runs incredibly hot. Which, by the way, a lot of coaches do. Mm-hmm. That style with professionals. That style with a player of LeBron James's experience, stature, and age, quite frankly, could be rather combustible. Right. This is not just he's got a bunch of 24-year-olds on his team. He's got, and I get it, different rules for different guys, but the explosivity and the personality is probably his number one trait.
So a lot of times, the biggest issue of a great college coach in any sport, going from that college to that professional sport, is that they are used to being the kings of their castle. Dan Hurley was the king of the men's basketball program at UConn. Stores was all his.
Yep.
He could do whatever he wanted because he was winning, and he was crushing people while doing it. And he had all the power in the world. You don't have that when you get to the professional level. You have so many more balls in the air, some more voices, especially with the Lakers. You're going to have a ton of voices in the Lakers. I'm really.
I wonder if he'll allow that, Al. Like, will he be?
Dan?
Will he be willing to listen to a chorus of input when he has been, like, to Emily's point, he has been the man, the absolute final authority on everything in his basketball program for the last several years.
This is going to be, if Lakers end up doing this and they come to terms and come up with an agreement, this is going to be probably his biggest challenge, because your blueprint for college is not going to be your blueprint in the NBA. It's just not.
Can't be.
That's not how it works. And I think, and what you pointed out, players in the NBA, they're not coached like college. So the one thing that you're going to have to figure out if you're Dan Hurley is, if I want to be, and this is what the Lakers are going to be bringing in, if I want to coach my style, my way, this is how I do it. I'm going to make these guys do, you think about like the famous coach back in the day, it's the Pat Rileys of the world that absolutely grind you. Thibodeau is a good example of what he does in New York, where you're basically playing 45. it's a college. Thibodeau, what do they call it? The Villanova Knicks, whatever it was. It was Hart. It was
Knicks.
Brunson. It was you got all these players just the way that he coached them. The biggest challenge for Hurley is going to be, can I come to the NBA, and I'm not coming to a team that's one of the youngest teams in the NBA. I'm coming to a team that's asked to win right now. I'm also coming to a team that has LeBron James and Anthony Davis, who've been in the league for a long time, that have had multiple coaches around them. Is his style going to be able to transfer to the NBA? And again, I'm going to continue to emphasize this. He's not going to the Charlotte Hornets. He's not going to a team where it's all youngsters or there aren't eyes on him or there aren't expectations. That part's going to be different, and that's certainly something that the Lakers got to weigh in as well, because if you're handing the keys to Dan Hurley, for me, it has less to do with, and it kind of sound a little bit crazy, it has less to do with this year and next year. It has more to do with what are the next 5, 7, 8 years going to be like, because you're handing the keys to a coach that better be here for a number of years if you're going to hand him the keys.
All right, the temperament, the absolute very explosive personality that Dan Hurley has, it can cut both ways. You want the good news or you want the part?
Part.
Okay, the part is, bro, you cannot treat 30-year-olds the way you treat 19-year-olds.
They'll shut down.
You cannot treat a guy who's making $20 million the way you treat a guy who's on a scholarship and maybe he's got some NIL and stuff, but you are not his boss. You are his partner. Okay, and if you are just constantly wearing those, the second LeBron James or Anthony Davis or a player like that goes, yeah, I ain't doing that, it's over. It's over. So that's the
can't do it to them, but he could do it to a lot of the other players as long as the stars are okay with it.
Yes, but the second one of your vets says, "Dude, shut up! I'm not. Dude, this is not UConn. Stop telling me this." And then we got a problem. Here's the good news: pushing people out of their comfort zone is a really good thing. Challenging people to do things they haven't done in a while is a really good thing. Making people reevaluate why they're doing things is a really good thing. Challenging people is a really good thing. And if he comes in there and gets buy-in from LeBron, which is another thing that we're going to get to here in a second, and he buys in and does it. And I'm not talking about like two-a-days or anything crazy like that. You're not going to kill the guy. But I'm saying he buys into the philosophical of, hey, this guy's a volcano, but I kind of dig it. Then it can really push them to a new place. It can develop new players because Frank Vogel, been around the block 100 times, right? He's an NBA guy. He knows what it is. He knows the beats of the league, and I think the players understood what they want. Darvin Ham was a new guy who very clearly lost the locker room after a period of time, and they checked out him, which is not uncommon in the NBA. This is kind of a new flavor of ice cream coming into the building, and that can be a really good thing, assuming you get buy-in from the most important people.
You have to also, I mean, you get that buy-in, but I think it's also going to come down to are those players going to be in a predicament or situation. I'm talking about LeBron and Anthony Davis, where there's 2 minutes left in the game, Trav, and it's tied at 102. And you walked away from that game saying, that coach just won us the game.
Yep.
You need moments like that to all of a sudden these guys are sitting here. I mean, hell, literally the best coach in the NBA right now is Eric Spoelstra, and LeBron had clearly a ton of doubts about Spoelstra when Pat Riley brought him in. I'm just using that as one example, that it's not going to be, even if Dan Hurley becomes a coach, it's not like it's going to be flowers and skies beautiful and all that other stuff. That's not the idea and the concept. But they also got to know, all right, when the game is on the line, that dude just won us the game or put us in a position to win the game. And they clearly didn't feel that in certain situations with Darvin.
Let's try a quick one here. Let's go to L.A. and Scooter. Scooter, you're on with Trav and Slee. What's up?
Hey, guys. How's it going?
All right.
I think, man, that if the Lakers pull this off, it'll be excellent, you know. And also, this is not going to be the last of it, you know, because I think a lot of these big-time college coaches, or football and basketball, are going to get tired of these NIL and transfer portals, and they're going to decide to go into the professional ranks to get these 8-figure contracts and forget about college.
Thanks for the
Appreciate
call,
you calling
Scooter.
Thank you.
Look, one of the ripples on this pond, it's not even a ripple, it's a tidal wave potentially, is what does this mean for college sports? Because it's not just Hurley. It's Jim Harbaugh left the college game after winning a title. Hurley won 2 titles. Nick Saban is probably by near unanimous consensus the greatest college football coach of all time, and he looked at the landscape and said, I don't want any part of this. I'm out. And he still had a really good team and was still highly successful. I think there's a whole lot there that we can get into as well. We're just getting started. We're going to be talking about this all day long. Dan Hurley potentially being named the next head coach of the LA Lakers. Hey, did you see Foo coming up next, plus more of your Laker conversation. It's Travis Lee, 710 ESPN.
Travis and Sliwa, and it's time for the segment we do around this time, 10:40 a.m. on Tuesdays and Thursdays.
Hey, did you see that sky today?
Did you guys see that?
Basically, the days we don't do Ask Slee, we do this thing. It's called Hey, Did You See?
Did you see that? I saw it, I did it.
Did you see the memo about this?
I mean, I'm excited. You can tell by my read. Hey, did you see?
So, hey, did you happen to see?
It's time for Hey, Did You See?
Hey, man, did you touch my drum set?
Have you read this?
Right now on Travis and Sliwa.
Hey, did you see that Adrian Wojnarowski said that the Lakers are closing in on hiring Dan Hurley as their next head coach? We're going to get to more of that coming up in just a little bit, including your phone calls. Hey, did you see, Jorge, that you brought in a beautiful cake and balloon for Emily on her birthday today?
Hey, did you see that Will just dropped it at 3:45 in the morning?
And you were awake?
I was awake. Yeah.
Absolutely. What's up?
First and foremost, happy birthday, producer Emily. Vote for Emily
you.
for producer of the year. Vote for Travis and Sliwa for show of the year, and
It's
vote
your
for me so I can
access code?
three-peat, baby.
I think you're a lock, Jorge.
Exactly.
Do we still have tickets available for Mandy's 3 as well?
We'll have to
think there
follow
might
up
be a
with
couple more.
Mr. Morales and see.
Use the access code, vote for Emily.
There you go.
What's
All
up?
right, fool. So, over the weekend, I took my daughter out to see the Garfield movie.
Oh, okay.
And something that bothers me about animated movies, it might just be me. I had this discussion with my buddies, and then I kind of brought it up to Emily here. Chris Pratt is the voice of Garfield.
Okay.
Chris Pratt is Mario from Super Mario Bros.
Okay.
Chris Pratt is Emmett from the Lego movie.
Okay.
If you have 3 iconic roles, should one actor be the same voice for all these animated roles? Like, what do you guys think of that?
Okay.
It bothers me.
The only one of those movies that I've seen is the Lego movie, and I thought Chris Pratt was really good in the Lego movie. But I haven't seen is he doing is he just acting, or is he doing a voice? Like, does he do a Mario accent or voice?
He sounds like
His Mario's bad.
His Mario is not the best.
It's okay.
But
So you're saying iconic animated voices for roles?
Right.
Let's keep these limited?
yeah, like John C. Reilly, right? Wreck-It Ralph.
Yep.
And he should stay at
Steve
Wreck-It
Carell,
Ralph.
Gru.
Steve Carell, Gru. And
Yeah.
then he's in the If movie as Blue. Like,
Tim Allen should be Woody.
Woody, and that's it.
Yeah.
Buzz Lightyear.
Or Buzz Lightyear.
Buzz Lightyear, sorry.
Yeah.
Yeah, and Tom Hanks is just Woody.
Yeah.
Like, shouldn't we just keep it to, like, iconic
Yes,
roles?
I
Right?
agree. Take Chris Pratt out of the Garfield movie is Jorge's consensus.
Por favor.
Is it any good?
Well, I think
it's really good.
only, I'm assuming here, it's only like the parents that are like, what the hell's going on? I just watched that movie and I heard the same guy there,
Who's
right?
Mario.
Like, kids got no idea.
Chris Pratt, and he's also Guardians of the Galaxy. What's his name?
Okay, but see, that's fine.
Star-Lord or whatever?
Star-Lord,
But
that's
see,
it.
that's fine because you see him on screen. He's going to
Yeah.
play different roles, and that's okay. But just as an animated, voice, I don't know. Like, I feel like we should give other people the
You got to disguise it, I guess, if you're going
Right.
to do it. You got to really
Actually
sell
act,
a character.
Chris.
Well, hold on.
I was going to say.
Let me hold on. Let me add it
Yeah.
to my list. Let me add it to my list. We're drafting
that
things
one's
that
not
Emily
12.
hates. Chris Pratt voice
You think
work.
that's top 12?
Chris Pratt.
We need like a top 80.
VO.
It's
All
not
right.
just VO, it's Chris Pratt.
What else you got, Jorge?
All right, so then there's this couple that went magnet fishing in New York, in the river in New York.
What's
right?
that? I don't know what that is.
So basically, you take a strong magnet, you take it into like any river or any water, and whatever you get out of it, it might be valuable. This couple found $100,000 in a safe.
No
okay?
kidding.
What?
Yeah, they found $100,000 in a safe. They took it to the police station. Police station, looked at it. They tried to verify if it belonged to anybody. It doesn't. So they let them keep it. Once they opened the safe, some of the bills were damaged. Now, I did my research here and there, and if you take damaged money to the Federal Reserve, as long as they can identify the serial number on there, they replace every single bill.
No kidding.
At no cost. Yeah, there's people that their house is burnt or their car's burnt or
Wow.
whatever, and then there's bills in there, and if they can identify the serial number on the bill, they'll reimburse you everything. So, would you guys keep the money, donate the money? If you guys came across something like this, like what would you do with something that valuable?
I think this one's easier than like what they did, going through the proper steps, and they took it to the police, and the police basically said, look, this is your money now. I'll go ahead and donate a percentage. Cool. I'll donate 10% of it, but
who?
I'll find either organizations or something along those lines that I'd be okay. Hey, I want to donate to this nonprofit or something like that. I'll give a piece of the pie, but I'm most likely if I went through that. This isn't an error or something like that. This isn't a bank error. This isn't, hey, I found somebody's money that they forgot in a bus or something along those lines. Probably going to keep that money.
I don't know, man. My first instinct would be to keep it for sure, because especially if you're pulling it out of a river, like you said, or whatever, it's like it's been at the bottom of the river for God knows how long.
What's the concern?
Karma. Right.
What did you do wrong?
What I did wrong was, let's say, I'm going to paint you a picture.
Okay.
Some little old lady with her life savings in a safe in the back of a pickup is moving to her next place, and it hits a bump in the road, and it flies out of the back of the truck and goes into the river. And she has no idea. It's just gone. She has no idea. And she calls every police department and says, I lost this thing. I would want to say, hey, look, I found this thing because, look, if it's like mob money or whatever, like, cool, I'd love to keep it because nobody's coming and say, oh, that's my mob money. I'd like it back. But the karma of taking honestly earned money from somebody, if it were able to be tracked back, that would bother me.
You know what I would do with
wait,
the
let
money?
me play it out. So it got tracked. You went and you did your due diligence.
Yeah.
You went to the police and
Yeah.
you said, hey, what do you want me to do? And the police said, listen.
No, that's my money at that point. If they say
But-
we don't know
I
whose
think
it is.
That's the way I think Jorge set it up of you did your due diligence, right? Like you did it immediately.
I keep it.
There was no shadiness to any of this. And then, I'll go find my grandma to go spend some money on.
If you feel guilty about this, you know what I would do with the money? I would fix the pothole that makes you.
Yeah,
I would take the money, fix the pothole.
So it doesn't happen to somebody else. Let me fix the.
I'm going to go get my grandma a nice watch.
But what's interesting about this magnet fishing stuff is they find guns. They
Oh, I
find
bet.
jewelry. They
Sure.
find all kinds of stuff, man. And
Especially old stuff.
Fillings.
whatever.
Look what I caught. It's a gold crown.
Oh, what do you know? Another pair of Reeboks.
Pumps.
All right. Dan Hurley is reportedly very close to becoming the next head coach of the Lakers, a Woj bomb in the middle of the night that they are negotiating for a long-term, high-dollar contract. Not only does that have a whole bunch of ripples on the Laker pond, but it could also affect the way that we look at college sports as well, because this is just another example of how drastically that's changing and how quickly it is. That's coming up next. It's Travis Lee, 710 ESPN. Woj bomb! Woj bomb!
It's the Travis and Sliwa Show. Thursday, we'll call it a Hurley Thursday. We're all over it. Interact with us, react with us, stick with us. Don't touch the bun, yo. Keep coming back. Hurley Thursday keeps rolling on 710.
This is another one of your faves, Em?
Yeah, it's Dancing on My Own by Robin. It's iconic. If it comes on in the club, you know I'm dancing to it.
Oh, tell me, girl.
Yes.
Same thing.
In the club.
Can we please make sure that we get Slee isolated saying, tell me, girl?
Let me know, girl. Same thing at the club.
That's amazing. This is Robin?
Yes, this is Robin. R-O-B-Y-N.
Like Robin Sparkles from, what was her name in that TV?
Robin Sparkles.
How I Met Your Mother? This feels like it's got a little bit of the Robin Sparkles
Sounded
beat.
like Stranger Things in the beginning.
But better.
Tell me, girl. Dance it. Dance it off, girl.
I'm in the corner. Watching you kiss
Is this a club song?
She's doing
Is
the
this
arm
really a
movement.
club song? I feel like this is like a concert song where everybody's holding their lighter up or something. I don't know.
No, it's club song. If it's banging at the club, you know what's going on.
This feels like the soundtrack of like a montage where they're getting ready to go to the party.
Yep.
What's so funny is that they used it in Girls, the HBO show, for almost exactly that. She comes home after a date. Yeah.
Movie director is in my future is what I'm hearing from you.
Great.
Yeah. This feels like they're laughing, they're putting makeup on, they're having a good time.
Alan, you're washed, man. Nobody brings a lighter anymore. It's a cell phone, man.
Oh,
It's
yeah.
a cell phone.
How am I going to light up?
It's all vape nowadays, Slee,
Exactly.
right? You're like that guy at the Sphere who got busted for smoking a bong.
I don't think I've ever smoked out of a vape. No, I guess I have, but if I'm going to do it, I'd like to go a little old school.
You want to go analog?
I want to go a little old school.
I understand.
That's all I'm saying.
Dan Hurley, middle of the night, Woj bomb. So he's getting close. I want to play this for you. That according to Woj, that the Lakers already had Dan Hurley as their primary target.
You know, he has gotten to know Hurley a little bit through talking about draft picks, but watched them, studied them, and throughout this process, that is the coach they've been after. Everybody else has been just essentially due process interviews, due diligence. They want to get Hurley, and they're hopeful they can lock.
Okay, so they want him. They've talked to him. They like what they're hearing from him, and that's all very exciting if you're a Laker fan. What I think is also interesting is what this means for college athletics generally speaking. We were talking, was it yesterday, Al, or maybe it was at the end of last week? College athletics is in a bizarre place. Players getting paid, and I support that. The players are able to monetize their NIL rights, right? That if you want to go do a commercial, go do a commercial. Could get as much as you can. Let the market dictate. But it's getting more and more challenging.
It's chaotic. There's
super
no rules.
chaotic.
I don't know what the hell's going on.
Neither do the coaches, and I think that's part of the problem here.
Realignment. Every time a team goes to one conference, there's already conversation of them leaving.
That's
There's
actually
the whole,
kind of like, it's okay. I got to play Oregon instead of I got to play Texas. Well, whatever. I just got to study the film, but I don't know who's going to be on my team in 6 weeks. That's a problem.
But what I mean by even and the realignment is more to just do with every university is just chasing the money. All the networks that have something to do with it. College football obviously is king, which has completely demolished all these other sports and these conferences of now you got even the other sports that aren't generating the revenue or traveling across the country to go play just a regular game of whatever it is. It could be soccer, water polo. The whole thing is in complete chaos. And even if there's a resolution coming, it ain't coming soon.
No, it's not.
It's going to take a while to figure out those pieces.
Nick Saban tapped the mat and basically said, this is not what I signed up for. His general message, like Nick Saban wasn't struggling. He was killing it. They were still in the mix. They were in the national championship game. And he basically said, this is not why I got into this. And he decided to step away. He's an older person, so he can just go into retirement. Jim Harbaugh won the national championship and said, I'm going back to the pros, and I think in large part because I don't want to do this. Dan Hurley just won back-to-back national championships and has been very outspoken about his disdain for the portal and his reluctance to have to live in that universe. But the fact of the matter is, it's the reality of college sports. I want to play this for you, Al. Seth Greenberg on ESPN earlier today talking about how this could be a big, big deal for everybody that's leaving college athletics.
Yeah, we saw Jim Harbaugh walk away from the national championship team at Michigan.
Right.
What it says is that right now, year-to-year free agency is absolutely exhausting for coaches. Being fundraisers and coaching at the same time is absolutely exhausting for coaches. Now, coaches are getting paid really well. We've got to find some way to create some type of legislation to have some type of normalcy in college athletics. And then it comes down to money. I mean, like right now, you talk about NIL. It's not NIL. It's pay for play. Let's call it what it is. Enough of the NIL. People that make NIL, that is great, all right? They deserve that. But it's become pay for play. So pay for play basically is a collective. A collective, you've got to create revenue streams. And right now, it's exhausting for the coaches to coach their team, develop their team, and also, raise the money you need to raise.
Go ahead, Slee.
I'm gonna tell a quick story on this Seth Greenberg stuff because I think I'm gonna try to tie it back a little bit personally and locally. of just how chaotic all this stuff is, and tie the Bobby Hurley back stuff too, or the Dan Hurley. So I met, this is probably about a month ago, with, they call it the Mesa Foundation down in San Diego, okay? And it's a group that their pure purpose is NIL, to try to generate revenue for the basketball program down in San Diego for San Diego State University. There was, I know you don't know the name, I've mentioned him before. You remember Lamont Butler? That's the guy that hit the shot to send San Diego State into the championship. Okay, hits the Final Four shot. He had, there was some rumors that he could potentially leave San Diego State. He ended up leaving. He went to Kentucky. It was 100% a business decision. That's it. Hey, I got nothing negative about San Diego State University. I had a great time at that program there. They're cutting a bigger check. That's it. Like, there is no other – the conversation is over. They're cutting a bigger check. I did everything I could do. He's going to one of the most established programs in the history of college basketball. He's going to Kentucky. The Mesa Foundation, I think I'm talking about, I remember them having a kind of like a message down to San Diego. Hey, you want to see your college program continue to have success like they have had over the last 10, 15 years? We need money. Like, that's all that this thing is going to come down to. And I love Seth Greenberg saying that, stop calling it NIL. It's pay to play, period. Coaches like Dan Hurley, who he's got NBA players coming through the program. UConn has had NBA players coming through the program before. They'll have NBA players coming after. If Dan Hurley leaves, there's going to be more NBA players coming. But I like what he said about these guys can't just coach anymore. This is a constant 365 days a year. And I get it. This is what Saban loved to do. This is in their blood. This is all of that. But this is no longer, can I out-coach somebody? No, I got to go raise money from our boosters. And then after I'm done raising the money from the boosters, I got to go help with some corporate sponsorships, because now we need the corporate sponsorships to come fund some of this stuff as well. Right when I'm done with the corporate sponsorships, I got to get into some of these high school kids' living rooms and go sit with their family and see if I can recruit them. And I'm trying to recruit them against all these other unbelievable schools in the ACC and everything else. You're not even
recruiting. You're just offering, this is how much I have for you. It's not, here's our school, here's my track record, here's the player I think you can be if we develop you. It's, here's how much I can give you.
That's the new recruiting pitch, right? So it's interesting, and I love how Seth just basically demolished the term NIL. Stop saying NIL. It's pay to play.
It's the job of the athletic director, and you don't have to do it. The job of the athletic director, I know I'll think, I'd hire this guy and this guy. The job of the athletic director is to raise money. That's the job. Negotiate television contracts, negotiate your partnership with other universities in your leagues, and raise money. That's it. That's the job. You are a fundraiser, first, second, 10th, 100th, and then, oh, by the way, I got to hire a tennis coach. That's the last thing that you do every day. Now you're asking the coaches to do it. They want to coach. They want to talk about drawing up a defense. They want to talk about how to, turn a double play. They want to talk about how this is how you set your feet on pass protection. They want to coach football, basketball, baseball, whatever it is. But now you're saying, hey, that car dealership down the road? We got to get $100,000 from that guy. We got to get $100,000 because I got to give it to my second string running back, because if I don't get it, he's going to leave. That's not what they signed up to do.
Another university is about to give him that $100,000.
Absolutely. So yep. I get that. So I get why guys are going to run away from that and into it. But you said this earlier. There's only 32 NFL jobs. There's only 30 NBA jobs.
There's only one Dan Hurley. There's only one Harbaugh. It's not like these are literally the best at their practice.
And here's where I think it gets really complicated, and here's where I think it's going to be super interesting for the Lakers. Most, and basketball specific, put the other stuff aside. Put the football stuff aside, because football is actually a pretty mixed bag of both. Most college coaches that go to the NBA to become NBA head coaches do not thrive. The opposite is true. There are some that have done Brad Stevens did really, really well.
Yeah.
The Lakers should have their fingers and toes crossed that if, in fact, they do hire Dan Hurley, that they found the next Brad Stevens who can realize this is how to communicate with NBA players. This is how I move my organization forward. This is how we're going to do things tactically, because the fact of the matter is, only a handful of these guys have even been hired over the last 7 years. You're talking about Billy Donovan. You're talking about Fred Hoiberg. You're talking about John Beilein. Donovan, okay, not bad. But Fred Hoiberg was a disaster. John Beilein was a disaster. Going backwards, there's a Larry Brown who's kind of successful in both, but the college coaches that come in typically have not had a great deal of success. And I think it goes back to what we've all been talking about, which is how do I talk to a 30-year-old 100 millionaire versus how do I talk to a 19-year-old who's on a college campus for the first time? How do I get that guy to do what I need him to do relative to how I got that guy to do what I needed him to do? And not everybody has those different shots. Dan Hurley seems to have one very specific shot in his bag, which is rage.
I'm gonna ask you. I'll get your opinion on this. Let's say there was 10 NBA coaching jobs available, and Dan Hurley was available. Do you think there's a greater chance that you got about 8 of those franchises saying, again, a coach that's never coached in the NBA but has aspirations to do it, had tremendous success in college? How many of those teams do you think are saying Dan Hurley's our first choice until he says no?
Some. I don't know what the number might be exactly but here's why. I think the why of it matters. He's incredibly well respected as far as the basketball goes.
Sure.
Right? It's 5 on 5. It's 10 guys on the court. There's one ball, 3-point lines here, free throw lines here. Here are the plays we're going to run. Right? All right, timeout on the side, we're going to run this play. Timeout on the baseline, we're going to run that. Like the coaching of it all is the bare minimum, right? You got to know what you're doing. The personality of it, though, Slee, I think is the compelling part to your question, which is maybe there of the 10 hypothetical teams that you're talking about, maybe there are 5 or 6 or maybe even more like, I just don't think that personality works in this league. Now, maybe there are he will alter it. He will tamp it down. He will turn it down a little bit. Or maybe
but you probably are who you are.
I think so too. I think so too. Or that's exactly what we need. We need a fire breather to come in here and get these guys going.
Because he also has a structure. He has a program. He has a way that he coaches. A vision for the Lakers that he had like a vision for UConn. He brought back UConn from the years that they weren't as great to being 2-time national champions. It's
decisively.
Yeah,
the personality piece that you mentioned, I think Brad Stevens is a great example. Brad Stevens kind of, didn't have that personality that we're talking about with Dan Hurley.
Very different.
Right? And it seemed like, and this guy, give this guy all the credit in the world. Give the Celtics credit, too, of saying, okay, we're going to grab Brad Stevens. They grab him. He's the coach for a couple of years. Now he's up to executive and, certainly running operations there. A little bit later today, oh, by the way, the NBA Finals start today. Little interesting that the Lakers decided that this news was going to come out right before Game 1 of the NBA Finals between the Boston Celtics and the Dallas Mavericks. But I think the Brad Stevens thing is interesting because that personality does fit in the NBA. That personality clearly has shown, and it's going to be completely different personalities. But I want to – you said something – this was about a half hour ago or so, and I wrote it down because you said something that – you said that you were talking about the Lakers' history, and you said that this isn't actually – over the last 10 years or so, this isn't the greatest history for the Lakers. It's just not if you look at it. No, it is the worst 10 years this franchise has ever had. Period. And that's factual. So if anybody wants to sit back and say, yeah, well, they won a championship in 2020, I understand they won a championship in 2020. But there has never been a 10-year window that the Lakers have been in where they've had as many unsuccessful seasons that they've had. They had 6 years in a row that they didn't make the playoffs. Since LeBron has been here in the 6 years, it's been a stock that's gone completely up or completely down. One of those seasons winning 33 games and losing 49. I bring that up, Trav, because and listen, I know they went through a stretch. The stretch where I was the biggest Laker fan is when they weren't winning anything, but they were in the playoffs every single year. Maybe 2 years, I think, over that stretch they weren't there. Then Shaq and Kobe come. Jerry West is part of your organization. Phil Jackson ends up coming. They fixed it. They cleaned it up, and then they start winning championships. But I think your point about that stretch is so critical because this is a critical time for the Lakers.
It is.
You can't be an organization that's recycling your head coach as much as that they have and then sit back and think that, hey, we're going to just swing for a home run and hope it hits. Dan Hurley has to hit if you get him. You are obviously committing for it. You feel good about it. I feel good about it, but it doesn't really matter what we think. It matters what ends up happening on the basketball floor.
I absolutely love it for all of the reasons that we've been talking about. But you bring up an interesting point, the idea of the critical nature of this stretch in Laker history. And I just think the reaction to the NBA world kind of colors in the rest of that picture. That's what I want to do next, because there's actually something else going on in the NBA that we haven't even mentioned. That's coming up next. It's Travis Lee, 710 ESPN.
Tell me, girl.
Thursday, we'll call it a Hurley Thursday. We're all over it. Interact with us, react with us, stick with us. Don't touch the bunyo. Keep coming back. Hurley Thursday keeps rolling on 710.
Put your hands to the sky. This goes out to the women working hard 9 to 5.
Tell me, girl.
Club
That's
adjacent.
more clubby.
Yeah, what do
I
we
don't know what
but
club you're going to, Em, but where Trav and I go, this is more our stuff.
Is there anything that we know less about than what you and I are opining on right now? Is that what is more clubby than the other thing?
I know more than you.
Yeah, I'm sure
I'm
you
telling
do.
you, this is not playing at the club. But yeah, no, this is Pitbull and Dolly Parton doing "Powerful Woman."
I know you. Well,
I love the song.
Pitbull and Dolly Parton will not be on our draft at 12 o'clock because we are drafting things that Emily hates. coming up about 42 minutes.
And they may be number
from
1
right
and
now.
2 of things I love.
I know. I know you are a huge fan. A quick.
This should be like the field of 64.
Yeah, why not?
Dan Hurley would win.
Forever.
Why not? Yeah, he might. He absolutely might. Congratulations to Cody Somerville. He is from Anaheim. He was caller number 7 on a Ticket Thursday, and he wins a pair of tickets to see Imagine Dragons on Saturday night, October 26th at the Hollywood Bowl. Imagine Dragons has added a third show, a third night at the Bowl. Keep listening all day for your chance to win on a Ticket Thursday on 710 ESPN. Congratulations, Cody from Anaheim.
Cody, take Jorge.
No
I'm
thanks,
going to
bro.
do everything I can to get Jorge at Hollywood Bowl.
Well, how about you take me? I'll go with you.
All right, let's find a show.
Let's roll.
Yeah,
There'll be a reggae fest
that
coming
blew
up
in
here.
your face.
A reggae. No, I'm good
No,
to go
I'm
with
not talking
Jorge.
about you. I'm talking about him.
Bro, I went to a reggae concert.
Yeah, I know you would do it. I mean, you
I'm
would
in.
definitely do it. I know, now he's like, damn, now I got to go.
Now I gotta go.
Yeah, now you painted him into a corner along the way. Dan Hurley is being widely speculated by very knowledgeable people like Adrian Wojnarowski, who is saying they're really close, that they are continuing to discuss this, that reportedly Dan Hurley has met with his team and said, yes, this Laker thing is real. We're still talking. Nothing is done, but we are talking about this. You were saying a second ago, Slee, that this last 10 years for the Laker organization has been the worst stretch of Laker basketball that we've seen in a incredibly long time, even with a title thrown in there in the 2020 season.
And again, I'm gonna emphasize that again. It's the worst.
Yeah.
It is. They have, if you look at the last 10 years for the Lakers, how many of those 10 years do you think they didn't make the playoffs?
Tell me.
7.
Yeah. That's unacceptable. In a league where more than half the teams make the playoffs, that's unacceptable.
If you want to go back, because I think if somebody wants to go back further and you're looking at Minneapolis, all right, go ahead and do so, but they also won a lot of championships there. If you want to go back, there was a stretch where the Lakers went 11 years without winning an NBA championship. By the way, is that funny? Like, that's supposed to be the worst ever. But 11 years. You know what happened in those 11 years? They lost twice in the NBA Finals. They were in the Western Conference Finals. They were in. They went 1 year without making the playoffs over that stretch of 11 years. This is, by far, in my opinion, the worst stretch that they've ever had as a franchise. And I think that's important to point out. And I don't think it's a coincidence that obviously the greatest owner, I would argue, in the history of professional sports, and Dr. Jerry Buss passed away. Artie Moreno as well. He's on that list. But Dr. Jerry Buss passes away, and it's been a family that's certainly figuring things out as they go. Had obviously the opportunity to sign LeBron James, and whether that was LeBron just saying, hey, I'm coming to the Lakers no matter what, give both sides credit, and things have stabilized to an extent, but they're also, I don't know if anybody has looked at this Lakers franchise over these last few years and said, wow, look at this great vision ahead.
All right, so with all of that in mind, and I think what you just laid out is exactly why there are some eyebrows that go up when you hear Dan Hurley's name, because you're right, Al. What you just said is, over the last 10 years, it's the least successful run of Laker basketball. It included a championship. Go ask just about every other team in the league. Hey, over the next 10 years, you want to win a title? You might miss the playoffs more than half the time, but you want to. They'd say, yeah, sign me up right now.
In any sport.
So that I think is a really good example of where the bar is. Mm-hmm. The NBA Finals start tonight. The NBA Finals include. If you were going to make an argument that the Lakers aren't the premier franchise in the league, the argument would be for the Boston Celtics. The Boston Celtics are in the NBA Finals against another team that has maybe the best player in the league, best young player in the league at least, in Doncic. And it's NBA story number 68, because the Lakers might hire a new coach. And it just blew everything else out of the water. They've gone 10 years and only won one title, and it's like, this is the worst basketball that we've ever seen in the history of the organization. You're going to give a guy that's never coached in the league that job? Really? You're going to give a guy that's never coached in the league that job when the track record of guys going from the league he has coached in, coming into this league, has far more failures than successes? Really? Like, I love this. I think that this checks a million good boxes for what the Lakers are doing. It checks the toughness box. It checks the passion box. It checks the present and future box. It checks
X's
the
and
you
O's
have
box.
a plan box, the tactician box. It does all of these things. But there's a giant box on the other side that says he's never done it in this league before. The pressure to succeed here is different than the pressure to succeed in any other job, maybe with the exception of the New York Yankees, maybe with the exception of the – I don't even want to put the Cowboys in there because that coach gets to stay forever.
No,
they don't fire
guys.
It's
It's Real Madrid. It's Manchester United.
It is an almost entirely unique situation. You're giving it to a guy – that has no experience, that is an incredibly volcanic personality, that is going to coach a guy. There's a video that's going around that Emily just sent us, Lee, where Dan Hurley is yelling at his guys as they're running bleachers, and he's just getting into them. Your best player is going to be 40 going into year 22.
And your second best player is always injured.
Your second best player is a player that has had chronic injury issues.
And has the quote-unquote soft issues that people say
like
about him.
I love
with all
this.
that setup, yes. The whole setup that you had of when you said, "Are you sure through all of this,
Yes.
10 years and all that
Yes.
stuff?" The answer is yes.
I'm with you too, but the other side of this is, wow, because they go through these guys so quickly that if they have a season and it's bad, it's going to be, oh boy, here we go again. And by bad, I mean, you didn't win the championship.
Well,
I mean, the things. I love what is in the pro column. I love it. I love the hire of Dan Hurley, if that's in fact what they end up doing. But the con column is not empty. It has several check marks in the con, and one of the big ones is college coaches don't really succeed in the NBA. They fail far more often than they succeed, and you can't coach college players the way you do pros. He is the quintessential dictator, screamer, yeller, lunatic on the sidelines. Good luck with that. And oh, by the way, you've never coached in this league.
Here's what's going to happen, and especially if you hire Dan Hurley, and the Lakers got to understand this as well. This is going to be the first time in a while that we're watching the Lakers bring in a coach where that team is now going to reflect the coach. What I mean by that, Trav, is I know players run the NBA, and I'm not telling you that all of a sudden that rule's going to change because they hired Dan Hurley. But you're not giving that dude the keys to your franchise. You're not giving that dude X amount of years and all that money without him saying, look, this is your keys today. It's your keys tomorrow. By the way, if it's not going well, we're not going to blame you. We're going to go blame the players. And we're going to change out players to make sure that it's accommodating you. You just can't go make an investment on Dan Hurley with the amount of years and the amount of money that you're going to give him without making sure that his blueprint and his fingerprints are on that entire roster. And that's unique to the NBA. That doesn't happen all the time in the NBA. And this is the example that I'd give you.
Can I just throw a monkey wrench in the middle of this?
Yep.
The monkey wrench is I'm with you. I'm with you.
And I think I know where you're going with.
Hit me.
Are you saying that there's going to be a player that says, "Hey, I don't know what the hell's going on here"?
Not right away, but yeah, in a year, 2 years.
And that's what I mean.
Yeah. Right away.
Not right away.
But
yes.
Hey, guys, this guy is a lunatic. Like, we're having 3-hour practices.
Which player?
Well, that matters for sure. But if it's a star player, you got a huge problem right there.
Because if it's Austin Reeves or Rui Hachimura as an example, cool. We're going to go find a way to move on from you guys. If it's Anthony Davis,
I agree with you.
It's a completely different conversation.
But what if it's Rui Hachimura, Austin Reeves, and literally everybody other than LeBron James and Anthony Davis? You can't get rid of 12 guys. That's a challenge. And if there's just no buy-in, and because look, I don't think that Dan Hurley is going to make LeBron James run bleachers. I don't think that he's going to, say, okay, I don't care if your knee hurts, AD. I need 400 stadiums out of you. I know he's not going to do that. He's not a crazy person.
Yeah.
I don't think.
I mean, Tom Thibodeau pushes his players.
He does, but there is stuff where you push guys. But if you have two guys that are not subject to these draconian tactics, allegedly, and the other guys are, you got a weird dynamic in your locker room. You really do. There can be you're going to treat Austin Reeves differently than you treat LeBron James. You're going to treat Max Christie differently than you treat Austin Reeves, right? Everybody's got a little bit of different rules along the way. But if you just have, okay, those guys are exempt from all of this, but the rest of you guys are going to be treated like college sophomores, good luck with that. That is a dynamic that could all of a sudden, it's like, yeah, this doesn't work. I agree with you, Slee, that the idea of having a long-term, of all the things that we've talked about, the number one thing about this that I like more than anything is that it indicates a plan that both takes care of the present and the potential, both short and near-term future. That this isn't just, hey, everything for LeBron, right? Okay, hey, let's get LeBron a really good coach that he likes. That box has been checked. LeBron has signed off on that. We've seen his comments. And, oh, by the way, let's have a guy that can build some culture, that develops young players, that has a vision. He checks both of those boxes, which is incredibly exciting. Incredibly exciting.
And that
now he just has to do it.
And that would be the sign of, I'll give you a couple teams that you root for. The Los Angeles Rams, I think, have given you. This didn't start yesterday, but I think once they brought in Sean McVay, there has been, it seems like, the rope's being pulled in the same direction from the top all the way down to the bottom. The Dodgers, as much as frustration lies with Dodger fans of what happens in the playoffs, should Dave Roberts be the manager, I don't think anybody should question, but do you feel like the organization knows what it's doing? That's where the Lakers are trying to get to. Now, how you get there, of course, it's important, it's this, that, but just finding steps to get to a place where you're looking at that organization and saying, I trust what their move is because that organization did it. The Lakers, that track record isn't that's not there right now where you feel completely good about. I think them signing Dan Hurley is certainly a step in the right direction.
A little Emily birthday fact or cap coming up next, plus more of the Dan Hurley conversation. Your phone calls included. 877-710-ESPN. Fact or cap coming up next. It's Travis Lee, 710 ESPN. Is your vehicle ready? Is it due for service? If it is, you know where to go. Your neighborhood Valvoline Instant Oil Change, home of the 15-minute drive-through oil change. You know why? Here's why. Because for over 30 years, Valvoline has provided quick and convenient automotive maintenance services for busy people like you and me. You don't have all day to sit around and wait for this to get done. You need to be in, you need to be out, you need to be going about the rest of your day. That's what they do at Valvoline. In, out. You don't even have to get out of your car. You stay in the car, nice and relaxed, nice and safe, while the expert technicians, they go to work on your ride. No matter what you need. Oil changes, tire rotations, transmission care, and a whole lot more. Just pull up, drive in, and drive out in about 15 minutes. And how about this? There are 80 locations throughout Southern California ready to help you get your ride ready for the road in no time at all. So here's what you do. You go to SoCalOilChange.com, you check out the locations, and you pick up some game-winning coupons for your next Valvoline Instant Oil Change.
It's and it's time for Factor Cap.
Oh, that's cap. That's so cap, Dad.
Everything I've said is a cap, but I'm going to go fact.
First of all, it's not a cap. It's
No, it
just
is a cap.
Welcome to Factor Cap.
Aloha.
Aloha.
Hello.
Aloha.
everybody.
Aloha.
Aloha.
How do you say happy birthday in Hawaiian?
Yeah, I
Aloha,
don't know.
birthday girl.
Mahalo.
That's it, Trev. You got it, bro.
I thought it was. I'm basically trilingual. Now I can add Hawaiian to my list.
And I know we're going to get back to more Dan Hurley talk. We're going to do a little Factor Cap here. But I just saw Dave McMenamin get on SportsCenter, and he talked about, I don't have the quote directly, and we didn't pull a sound quite yet, so maybe we'll do that a little later. But he talked about how AD and Dan Hurley have no relationship. LeBron has a relationship in terms of, like, he talked to him on X. He's talked to him before about this. But AD has no relationship. Like, how do you hire somebody with no relationship?
That's really interesting. That is really interesting because think about all the things that we've talked about. Think about the things that have been reported in this and his relationship with LeBron James, his relationship with young players and all these things. Anthony Davis, at best, has only been mentioned tangentially in a lot of these things as, oh, by the way, he'll be there for AD's future as well. That it's never been, hey, look, Anthony Davis is already the best player on this team in a consistent basis, right? I know that LeBron James is the most prestigious player and can get to higher highs, but Anthony Davis is the present and the future of this team right alongside LeBron James, and that he has no relationship with a guy that might walk in, that's something, that's for sure.
Yeah, I'm not crazy about that. I would, if you don't have a relationship with the individual, I'm hoping that the Lakers are still having some type of dialogue and a conversation with Anthony Davis. He may not have a relationship with him, but I'm sure that there's going to be this, at least Anthony Davis and Rob Pelinka, the front office, hey, this is what we're thinking, and take it from there. Now, I don't know how much of an effect that's going to have, but I'd prefer that AD obviously is a part of that chat.
We'll spend some time on that coming up in just a little bit, but a little birthday factor cap real quick.
All right. So my first one is, again, birthday related. And so I know we've all experienced this, and it always feels a little awkward when you have a group of people and they start singing happy birthday to you. You never know what to do. You don't know what to do with your hands. You don't know if you sing along. Yep. Do you smile? People are always videoing you, and I also hate that.
Hold on. Wait. Put it on the list.
Yep.
You don't know what to do when people start to sing happy birthday to you. Travis, Factor Cap.
To me, I'm the birthday person in this scenario.
You are the birthday person. You don't know what to do.
You just sit there and smile like a dope and wait for it to be over. Yeah, fact. I know what to do. You just sit there and suffer silently with a big happy smile on your face. And how long does happy birthday take? 30 seconds? 40 seconds? And
definitely more than that.
It's okay. A minute, whatever it is. It's not that bad. So, yeah, you sit there, smile, and go, oh, thank you. And you wait for the weird waiter to go away and leave you alone.
All right, Al?
Cap, I don't know what to do. I have no idea what to do. I start, like you said, I love what you said about the hands. Do I put my hands in my pockets? Do I put them on the table? Who do I make eye contact with? Why are there waiters and waitresses coming up here? When do I blow out the candles? I don't know now. There's pressure on what my wish is going to be. I'm with you, Em, on it's an awkward situation. We all got to go through it once a year. Some of us who lie about it's our birthday to get free dessert maybe a couple times a year.
Stop.
Yeah, I don't know what to do.
Jorge?
I look around. I look around to see who's there, and then
Jorge goes to use the restroom.
No, hold on. There's a tradition, right? You got to look around. This is the reason I look around, because when in the Mexican house, when you're celebrating a birthday, after they finish singing, they ask you to take a bite of the cake. Que le muerda, take a bite. Once your face is going down for that bite, somebody pushes you into the cake. So that's why I look around to see who's next to me, because there's always that one guy or cousin or brother you can't trust
him, bro.
All right, so I've been experiencing this today, and everyone is being so sweet. Thank you for all the tweets. Thank you for everything of people shouting out, saying happy birthday to me. I do actually really appreciate it, and I feel very loved right now. But also people on Facebook, people that I haven't talked to in 15 years, it feels like, or saying happy birthday on Facebook, or my old soccer coaches, my old coworkers and stuff, like Freddie Coleman on the
oh, that's nice.
Yeah,
Love
Freddie and
Freddie.
Ian. Oh, well, what show is he on now? It's with Freddie and Harry. Freddie and Harry. Anyway, so they say happy birthday to me. It's very sweet. I really enjoy seeing those. But you still wish happy birthday to people on Facebook. Al, Factor Cap.
You want to just go jump to Jorge on that one, or
Cap's an answer.
So Cap, I just don't use Facebook, period. So, and I'm not I don't know how often you guys. I'm going to throw a different one out. You guys on LinkedIn a lot or no?
Yeah.
Very
Not at all.
rarely.
Okay,
I mean,
so
I have a LinkedIn account, but I don't.
I do too.
Yeah.
And I'll go like 3 months before I check it, and then I check it, and there might be a couple messages there, and I'm like, crap, like, no, it's been too long. Like, I don't want to send a message now. That was back in February. I can't even imagine. And again, because I don't use Facebook, I don't think there's any messages there. Probably haven't. So definitely cap for me on that in that regard.
I use Facebook a lot for Marketplace. The Facebook Marketplace, I get a lot of stuff from there. Trev?
I'm Cap as well. If you are a person in my life who I care about, I would probably talking to you on a somewhat regular basis, and I have your phone number, and I can call you, I can text you. I don't have to go through a third-party platform that I check once a year to see whose birthday it is. No, if you're in my life and it's your birthday, and I know that, you will get a text from me, not a Facebook.
All right, Jorge?
Yeah, I don't have the Facebook either. My dad is the one that spends his day on Facebook all the time. My dad finds out things about me and what me and Brenda are doing with the kids through Facebook.
Does Brenda post on it?
Oh, Brenda posts on Instagram and then Facebook and all. But I don't have one, so I don't reach out to anybody through Facebook.
Yeah.
All right.
Hit us up on Facebook.
Yeah.
Facebook.
Tweet us. One last one for you guys here. So I've kind of thought about this of times in which I was like, I really liked that birthday plan that I had. Things didn't go exactly how I wanted it to, or I wish I would have redone this one part of my birthday. So there is a birthday that you wish you could do all over again, whether it was you wish you could fix something or it was such a great day that you want to do it all over again. Jorge, fact or cap?
Fact. I think when I was turning 25, we had plans. It was a group of...
Rent a car.
No, more like a bus. No, or RV. No, we had plans. It was supposed to be a group outing with a bunch of friends who were also celebrating, because I'm a November guy. So it was 4 of us who were from November planning on...
Scorpio?
Yeah. No, Sagittarius. Yeah.
Me too.
Yeah, so hey.
2 Sag and a Scorpio on the show, and a Gemini.
Yeah, 29th, if you guys want to send me something. I'm just playing.
Yeah, don't worry, it's in my calendar.
So on Facebook. So yeah, when I was 25, I wish I would have gone on that trip.
Trev?
Yeah, Susan threw me a surprise 30th birthday party that was a genuine surprise. I had no idea it was coming. Like she executed this thing great. She catered it from a place that I really liked at the time. I saw the people that are nearest and dearest to me. I got to see some people I hadn't seen in a really long time that came out for it as well. It was just a wonderful, wonderful experience. And I'm not a huge birthday party person, but it meant the world to me. I loved it, and to be able to do something like that again would be really cool.
Al?
Fact, 21st birthday in good old El Cajon. Same thing. It was a surprise birthday. It was literally one of the best nights of my life because it was all the people that I cared about, that my sisters and my mom did such a good job, from friends at San Diego State University or high school friends that I had, to my closest cousins, to my closest family, both my parents, obviously my sisters, that if I could repeat a night in my life because of the people that were involved, take me back to my 21st birthday.
All right, so it was McMenamin, M?
Yes, McMenamin.
So Dave McMenamin was on, it was at SportsCenter.
Mm-hmm.
So he was on SportsCenter a few minutes ago talking about how the leading candidate to become the next head coach of the LA Lakers, Dan Hurley, has no relationship to speak of with Anthony Davis. What the heck does that mean? That's coming up next. It's Travis Lee, 710 ESPN.
The grass was greener.
David Gilmour.
same person dropped off food at your house twice in one day? I don't
Great
know.
question.
Travis and Sliwa.
On 710 ESPN.
Such a club hit.
I was just going to say, Slee, we should play a game. Club or no club?
Yeah, no, this is club.
For the drop.
This is no question about it, club. I don't even know what time it is at this point. I'm on my 7th Red Bull and vodka.
Well, this is how cool I am. What's the drug you take when you go to the club? I don't even know what it's called.
Well, ecstasy.
Ecstasy, Molly.
Molly, that's the one I was trying to think.
Yeah, I mix them.
Yeah.
I put them all in a blender.
Yeah.
Molly was what you just Mollied up. How do you?
Oh,
what are you
so
tripping?
good.
You trip on Molly? I don't know.
Yeah, tell him, Trav. Tell him, brother.
I gotta get more experience with my drug use. I just, not
No,
being
you
a,
don't.
Not being
The
a
way you
drug
just
person.
described it is the best description I've ever heard.
Maybe.
By the way, this is Super Ultra Modern Girl by Chapel Roan.
Everybody knew that.
Road.
You don't have to.
Yep,
You don't have to
Chapel.
explain that to anybody. Tell me what you saw on TV.
Yeah, so earlier on Sports Center, Dave McMenamin was kind of doing a stand-up talking from the NBA Finals. And, of course, he wasn't talking about the NBA Finals.
yeah,
He was talking
that.
about the Lakers. But what he said was that two things, that they had not had – that AD and Dan Hurley do not have a relationship yet. That they have not met in person, that they had not communicated over social media, that it doesn't seem like they had connective tissue. And then they addressed that LeBron had gone on X and talked about Dan Hurley and gave him some praise because Dan Hurley was on JJ Redick's podcast, The Old Man and the Three, Old Man and the Three back then. So there is some LeBron connection. But then he also went on to say that LeBron and has not met with the team, has been distant, and tried to stay out of the coaching search, quote unquote. So that's what I heard from SportsCenter.
Okay, so I think the word "yet" is incredibly important in this. That they don't have a relationship yet. That doesn't mean because if you just hear they don't have a relationship, could potentially mean they don't have a relationship because they don't like one another, right? I don't have a relationship with that person because I know I hate their guts. Therefore, we don't have a relationship. That's not what this sounds like. Again, I'm getting it secondhand from you, Em. So if this is just, hey, believe it or not, the two very successful people in the basketball universe have really never crossed paths. They don't know each other at all, and they need to get to know each other. Okay, that's fine. I think that's interesting. What I find fascinating, and I'm not saying this is the way it should be, but this is the way that I'm interpreting it from a distance and looking at it. Anthony Davis's role in this entire process seems to be virtually non-existent. That his name doesn't come up frequently. His thumbs up, thumbs down on potential candidates is either done incredibly privately where it never comes out or it's not asked. That LeBron, we always kind of know where LeBron stands, even if he doesn't explicitly lay out where he is on something. We know, right? We knew where he was with JJ. We knew where he was with a variety of these. We know where he is with Kyrie. We know where LeBron James's feelings are, even if he doesn't say that. I don't know if our lack of information on Davis has to do with them not incorporating him into the decision-making process or not really caring, or just him being a pretty, and I don't mean this negatively, but kind of a benign personality. He's not a squeaky wheel. He does not raise hell when he doesn't get what he wants. He's not that guy that has to constantly be told, you're the prettiest one. We love you the most. You're the most important one. That you can just kind of conduct your business and know that he's going to do his thing regardless. But it's really peculiar to me that the future of the team, LeBron James Bronny James's needs, that all of the championship needs, all of this is predicated or talked about first, and that, by the way, he should probably fit in with Anthony Davis is somewhere way down the list. That's weird.
First off, I think it matches Anthony Davis's personality. And you tell me this if this is a similar personality. I'm not really sure what AD wants. I'm not sure if Dan Hurley is the coach. I'm not sure how much he's sitting back in behind the scenes saying, guys, this is where I'd like to see us go, or hey, have you thought of this? Have you thought of that? I don't think he does much of that. That's not in his personality. Let me use on the floor, on the court as an example. How many times do we get frustrated? Where's Anthony Davis? How many times do we get frustrated towards the end of games? It's like, why isn't AD demanding the ball? How many times do we get frustrated that, geez, everything's going to run through LeBron again? LeBron, find Anthony Davis. And I say that because it almost feels like the way both of those players are on the floor is similar personality of how they are off the floor. Attention or lack of attention. One player basically saying, I'll figure it out. The other player kind of sitting in the corner in the most critical point of a game where it's like, where the hell is Anthony Davis? Maybe I'm making too much to matching those, but I feel like there's sometimes with Anthony Davis where we watch him on the floor, it's like, no, he's got to have more of an impact. No, he's got to take the keys to the franchise. I don't know if that also has some tendencies to make its mark off the court as well. I will say this about Anthony Davis. He put the final nail in the coffin on Darvin Ham. He did. Right? So whether we think Anthony Davis is the vocal person we want him to be, the aggressive person in the fourth quarter, whatever the heck you want to say, I remember Game 2, Lakers lose to Denver, and I had to keep listening back to it.
You know what that means.
Yes.
You know what that means.
Get in here, MT.
He's Sliwa's in his secret location. He's at his compound.
Turning into a mason, a Persian mace.
Yeah.
Here.
Yeah. Chaldean mace.
Chaldean mace, yes.
Not
yes.
Persian. What's up, MT?
Chaldean. He doesn't have his headphones on yet, Al. I'll let you know when he's able to hear you. How are you, Michael?
Oh, I'm doing well.
Oh, you look. He might. How about this, Lee? Michael's breaking out a pair of headphones from actual bubble wrap. That's how you do it.
Oh, there you go.
Does it have a label?
Yeah. Are these your personal set, Michael?
Yeah, I don't wear anybody's headphones.
Okay. Well, you're one of the few.
Headlights, airwax, all that stuff. No.
Michael, you're the cleanest. You're the cleanest person we know.
That's right. Hey, I'm the Perel Prince. I was ahead of everybody on that.
You're right.
Prince. That's right, baby.
Michael was bowing to people and not shaking
You're
hands because he didn't want to spread germs.
Ahead of the game.
Stupid handshake tradition. Whoever started that crap anyway?
All right, let's get right to it. Obviously we got a lot of time still to get into this, but when you woke up this morning and you saw the Dan Hurley speculation, I know obviously you're kind of in a little bit of a weird spot in what you can say and everything else, but what do you think?
Shocked. I was shocked. Nobody saw this coming. I was assuming that J.J. Redick basically was getting ready to dot the T's and cross the I's to sign his contract. Well, however that works out anyway, but I didn't expect this came out of nowhere.
So did it come out of nowhere? Because I think it matters. Did it come out of nowhere because the Lakers had identified Dan Hurley a while ago and said, let's keep this quiet. Let's quietly start talking with him, see if he's a good fit for us, see if he's a good fit, if we fit what he's looking for, and go through the process quietly, effectively, thoroughly, and land on, hey, this is our guy? Or was this hey, you know what, we should probably throw Dan Hurley a call too at the last minute? Because the first thing fills me with a great deal of confidence, Michael. If it's the first thing, it is a indicator that for the first time in a while, they have a plan that I think services the present, the near future, and the little more distant future. That this is somebody that does build culture. This is somebody that does develop players. And, oh, by the way, is a really good coach, will fit with LeBron. LeBron likes him. It seems to check every box. If it was done deliberately and with purpose, I'm super excited about it. If it's just they fell into some dumb luck, then that doesn't last very long.
No, not at all. And you're right. He's a type of coach. He reminds me of Mike Malone. No messing around. It's all about business. Let's go out there and win. Be a man. Live up to your responsibility. Hold yourself accountable, and let's go win. That's the way he coaches his UConn team. I think that's the approach he'll bring to the NBA, which you need to be successful in this league. No nonsense. That's what Joe Mazzulla does with Boston. That's what Jason Kidd is doing with Dallas, and you see the results of it. And so you got to let these players know who's the boss when you can respect them. You listen to them, you get their input, but you got to know this. I'm here. This is what we're going to do. These are the rules. Follow my rules. If we don't succeed, it's on me, but you got to follow what I want you to do. That's the way Mike Malone coaches the Denver Nuggets. They respect that. Players respect when you have strong leadership, and I think that's what he projects. And this just shows you and proves, Sliwa, that all the rumors and leaks you hear coming out of hirings or trades or signings is done on purpose because they obviously kept this secret.
It's done on purpose, and it's done for a purpose, but it's also frequently accurate. And this is one that just came out of left field all of a sudden.
That's why, Michael, I got a little bit of doubt that this was the Lakers, everyone's looking left while they're going right. And the reason why I say a little bit of doubt, and who knows, maybe this is something that developed over the last week or so. Who knows that maybe Dan Hurley decided, you know what, if I can get an opportunity, if I'm going to go to the NBA, why the hell would I wait? I just won 2 national championships with UConn. the Lakers' job is open. The timing is good. I can't be any higher when it comes to his want, need, and value because of what he just accomplished with UConn.
It's only won 2. Come on.
What's that?
He's only won 2. It's not like he's won 10 like John Wooden.
You're right.
Come
But
on.
if he wants to coach in the NBA, I just got 2 under my belt. Look what's happening right now to college basketball and college football in that world. And the Laker job is open?
Nah. You're looking too deep. Here's what happened. Hey, here's $15 million a year. You want to come coach the Lakers? Because that's what's going to take to get him away from UConn. Because right now he is set in stone there. He can coach there until he's 70 years old if he wants to. He's now Dean Smith. He's now John Wooden. He's now Mike Krzyzewski because he's gotten 2 championships there. They seem to love him. So he's so comfortable at UConn. It looks like that's his niche. So you know they had to throw at least $75 million for 5 years after.
So you've brought this up a couple of times. Is that what you think? Do you think they stumbled into this, or do you think that Dan Hurley was the first one to reach out to them? Because this is the second time you brought this up, that this was not their plan, that this is something that was presented to them or kind of fell into their lap.
My hesitation is you asked Michael the same question you asked me when we started the show.
Yeah.
What was your first initial reaction when you thought Dan Hurley? Shocked.
Sure.
I was shocked, and so was Michael and everybody else, because Woj's not just throwing J.J. Redick's name out. Neither is Shams. I get that there is things can happen and things can change. We thought for 3 weeks it's going to be J.J. Redick. We played a clip yesterday of J.J. Redick on, I forget which podcast that he was on, talking about, I don't want to talk about the Lakers. Let's wait until the NBA Finals are done. I think I don't know if they woke up and when Darvin Ham got fired, they said, that's our guy and we're going to go target him. Maybe they did. I just have I have a hesitation on that.
So the personality of Dan Hurley is abrasive, perhaps, is one word.
Prickly
is a good word.
Pat Riley was prickly.
Absolutely. And you played for Pat Riley.
Yeah.
But times have changed. That was 40 years ago.
Oh, come on.
No, they have.
Michael's going to
So what? Oh, what? You got to be a coach.
Hold on. No.
Oh, please play hard tonight. Is that what you? That's the kind of coach you want.
Hold on. Let me finish.
Come
What's
on.
a kiss on the side of the cheek?
What players have become accustomed to, and I agree with you. I think
Coddling?
Yes, and I think what you're saying is right. I think that most of us do want to be led.
Yeah.
Most of us do want a firm
that.
hand on the wheel. I agree with you. But I also think that to sell that has to be done in a certain way. Michael Malone has sold it over the course of a long time, came in, did have a track record in the NBA as a successful coach in Sacramento. He had a pedigree that okay, show me. I understand the pedigree from college is one thing. This is a new league from him. If he comes in breathing fire at guys, that's nothing.
You find the players who want to be coached. That's what he's got that in Denver. You got that in Dallas.
What if it's one of their better players who really has a hard time with the style of it all?
You're not going to win then. If your best player don't want to accept coaching and leadership, you're not going to win.
Well, especially if the coach, Trev, it's fair to say what you're saying. If that coach, it doesn't seem like that coach knows what the hell he's doing, or there's a critical situation and that coach makes multiple mistakes. That's different. But Michael, if the dude knows how to coach, and he's the difference between you winning a game late and
Phil
not
Jackson,
winning a game
Pat
late,
Riley,
then that's on
Ramsey.
your players.
Mm-hmm. That's right. There's a bunch of examples out there of guys who were tough, demanding coaches with
Thibodeau.
superstar, legendary players. Those legendaries bought into the program, and look what happened.
It was a different time.
Oh, don't quit that crap.
Why? It's true.
Why does it work in Kansas City with the Chiefs?
Andy Reid's not a fire-breathing guy.
He's the nicest coach out there.
I bet you when he speaks, they listen to him. I bet you Patrick Mahomes respects him.
But Michael, Andy Reid had been in the league for a quarter century when he was getting these guys, that he had earned his stripes. He had done these things to do it, and he has a track record of, guys, if we do this, this works. This guy's brand new in this league.
Michael, what's Steve Kerr's what's his style with the players?
He's demanding, but he's willing to listen.
He collaborates.
He treats them like men, like professionals, which they are, like adults. But Steph and Clay and everybody knows Steve say it's the final say. He'll listen to their input, and he'll take their suggestions, as a good coach will do when you have legendary players like the Warriors have, like the Lakers have.
If Steph or Clay or Draymond went to Steve Kerr and said, listen, Steve, you're missing the boat on this. he's going to listen, right?
Of course.
I agree.
Yeah. Pat Riley listened to Magic.
Okay, but
He didn't know my name, but he knew he listened to Magic.
There has to be some of
you were the driver,
and I get it. LeBron James has more pedigree than maybe anybody that's ever played.
Yep.
And if LeBron says, "Hey Dan, I think you're barking up the wrong tree here,"
listen to LeBron.
I hope so.
Yeah.
But until we know, we're guessing.
Oh, Dan Hurley's a smart guy. If LeBron has a suggestion or to do things a different way, he's going to listen to a legend like that.
Probably.
Michael, real quick. What Travis said.
But it's not a slam dunk.
Uh-huh.
It's not a. And okay, let's say this. Let's say LeBron is being treated one way, right? That 20 plus years in the league, all-time scoring. I don't need to list LeBron's resume. LeBron gets this set of rules. Maybe Anthony Davis has a slightly different set of rules.
You don't have to give LeBron rules because he's dedicated, man.
I agree with you. But what if there's a different set of circumstances, rules that are imposed on the other 12 or 13 guys on the roster? Is that not a way to kind of create division?
No, because Magic and Kareem could do things that me and AC knew we couldn't do because they get what is the word I'm looking for? When they privileges because who they are and what they've accomplished. There's pecking orders in this thing, Travis. You played baseball, you know that. If you were on the staff right now with the Dodgers, you would understand things are different for Kershaw than you, right?
Of course.
There you go.
But I'm 52 years old.
Oh, come on.
No.
When you were 22, you would understand. When you were 22, when you were 22, the star pitcher in the game was Greg Maddux.
Okay.
If you were pitching for the Braves.
Oral Hershiser.
Okay. You would know that that's Hirsch. That's Bulldog, as always call him. And I'm Travis Rogers. Yeah, I'm good, but that's the legend right there. That's the Hall of Famer. But is he in the Hall of Fame yet?
He is not. He is not. There's a very good argument that he should be, but he is not in the Hall of Fame right now. But I think I grew up differently. You grew up differently.
Oh.
I know you reject this, but I believe it to be true that guys are expecting a certain thing. Some will adapt. Some will adapt. Many will not.
I don't want those guys on my team.
Okay, but you can't change every player.
You could draft. You could trade.
Every guy?
All 12 guys have
what if
that
it's
kind
half?
of stupid attitude.
What if it's half? You can get rid of half the team?
Yep, they're gone.
If they end up hiring him, I do agree with you that you're going to now have to adapt that roster to Dan Hurley.
Yes.
Right? There's a big difference between, and this is tougher in the NBA because the NBA is driven by stars, but Jason Kidd doesn't get the Mavs job unless he feels like, okay, is he going to work well with Luka?
Of course.
We're going to go make a trade for Kyrie Irving. Is he going to work well with Jason Kidd? But I think the Dan Hurley situation, and I think what you're talking about, Trav, and I think kind of bring this full circle, ultimately if you hire Dan Hurley, today it's going to look one way, but at the end of the day, that roster is going to have to be the blueprint and the fingerprint of your coach, and that's going to happen over time.
That's right. Exactly. And Hurley's smart enough, and players like coaches like Kidd and Mike Malone understand when you have a Jokic, you have a Luka. Although if I was coaching the Mavericks, I would demand more stuff from Luka. Number one, get in better shape.
I was just going to say.
And number two, you got to play better defense.
I want to come back.
I don't expect you to be Michael Cooper, but at least got to try.
I want to come back to the Jason Kidd of it all. You're listening to KSPN Los Angeles, a Good Karma Brands radio station. What has been the thing that we've talked about with Jason Kidd the most in this run through the postseason? His relationship with Kyrie, right? The fact that he and Kyrie have been on the same page. He's got the absolute best out of Kyrie.
Yeah.
He's done it by collaborating.
We could have had Kyrie.
He's
Did I say that out loud?
Stay focused, Michael. Stay focused.
Okay.
That he's done it by collaborating with Kyrie. He's done it by finding common ground with Kyrie. He's done it by communicating with Kyrie. He has not done it by coming in with a blowtorch.
And also, yes,
and to your point about if Jason Kidd decided that, you know what my next mission is? I'm going to get on Luka Doncic for being out of shape and being soft. Good luck with that, because what if Luka doesn't want to do that? Jason Kidd's cooked.
He ain't got no rings yet, does he?
Michael, he's cooked. If he bucks at
he's
Luka,
losing that battle.
He's
losing that battle. That's not a battle.
You can't appeal to Lukic's pride and professionalism.
Can try.
And competitiveness to say, hey, son, if you get in better shape, just think how much better you could be, and you'll be healthier. You won't be having all these aches and pain. That's how you appeal to him.
You could be better than 35, 10, and 10 in the playoffs.
Exactly. He probably could. He'll be in better shape. And also with Kyrie, two things. Yes, Jason Kidd had to work with him, but Kyrie had to come in there with a whole new.
Of course he did.
This was his last chance to make $150 million.
I agree with that.
If he'd have blown it this time, he was done.
Kyrie was smart enough to at least be okay. I'm going to listen.
You're right,
but Jason Kidd did not come in with a sledgehammer in his hand. He came in with an olive branch and said, "Let's talk about this."
Yes, of course.
Trav, is that the concern, Trav? You think that Hurley comes in, this is my team, I'm going to do it my way, which, by the way, that's not crazy to think.
I was going to say that what did you say, Michael, $15 million or whatever the number is?
At least that.
Okay, so if you're paying me $15 million and I have a long-term deal and my best guy, and he's not going to pick a fight with LeBron. He's not a crazy person, so that's not going to happen. But what I'm saying is just he has been successful by doing it the way that he does it, which is very passionate, very fiery, very abrasive, very prickly, as the word. And to think that all of a sudden he's going to round off all of those edges just because, hey, I'm in a different league, I think that's unlikely.
Besides, he's got all those characters, but you see how his players love him? You see how they were hugging him after the championship and praising him and how much they appreciate him?
Yeah, but Michael, the difference between a college player and a 8-year NBA veteran, that's a very different human being.
Like I say, man, if you don't want to be coached, if you don't understand professionalism and what it takes to win in this league, then you ain't going to do it. If you don't want to have that approach coming from your coach.
You know Emily pretty well, right?
Oh, Emily, of course.
Okay.
The oldest teenager in L.A.
It is her birthday today.
Oh, what are you, Emily, like 18?
28.
Since you are the what do you call it? You are the Swami of the Swifties?
Yeah, sure, yeah.
I thought you were looking for Belle of the Ball.
No. That too, of course. What are you, 25?
28.
28. You look so young.
I know.
Thank you.
I know.
It's your birthday today.
Yes, it's
What are you doing? Why don't you give it a day off, Travis?
I'm not in charge of these things, Michael.
Michael, we voted, and everybody's like, hey, you know what? We should give her the day off. And Travis like, no, she's got to work.
Yeah, I veto. Sorry, Em. I didn't want to. I didn't want to be the one to break it to you, but you have to work on your birthday. In honor of her birthday, Michael, we're going to draft the things that she hates the most. You're welcome to participate if you'd like. We're doing that next. It's Travis Slee, 710 ESPN. And Slee, tonight, Game 1 of the NBA Finals, Prize Picks. Put that Prize Picks app on your phone because they're giving you a freebie. We all know how Prize Picks works by now, right? Here's what it is. You pick between 2 and 6 players, and then you pick more or less on their stat projections for that given game. For instance, tonight, Prize Picks, they're giving you Jason Tatum. 0.5 points. Do you think Jason Tatum will he score any points tonight? If you take the more, you get that at Prize Picks. That's what it is. That's how easy it is, and you can win up to 100 times your money.
All right, you're halfway there. Take the free pick on Jason Tatum. Then we can start looking at some of the other players out there. How about this? Luka, 31.5 points, more or less. I'm going to go less on that one. It's Luka's first NBA Finals game. Boston plays great defense. Obviously, Drew Holiday, Derek White. They're going to throw a couple different players at him. Porzingis will be a part of the mix. You could look at P.J. Washington, a ton of players. You could look at some of the WNBA players, Major League Baseball. Takes about 60 seconds to submit your entry. Download the app today. Take advantage of this. Everyone at 710 is playing. Use that code 710 for a first deposit match of up to $100. That's code 710 on Prize Picks for a deposit match of up to $100. Pick more, pick less. It's that easy.
call it a Hurley Thursday. We're all over it. Interact with us, react with us, stick with us. Don't touch the bunyo. Keep coming back. Hurley Thursday keeps rolling on 710.
It is certainly a Hurley Thursday here at 710 ESPN. We are going to talk more about Dan Hurley and maybe whether or not he will be the Lakers head coach. I want to hear your checklist of what Hurley meets a little later, Travis, because I think it was really interesting what you said earlier. But first, I'm going to draft things I hate. It's my birthday. And what better thing?
Is there anything more, Emily, than on a celebration of your life that we're going to talk about all the things that drive you crazy?
Yes,
Sean,
passions.
Sean Penn was in a movie called Hurley Burley. You got to look that up.
Interesting. So here's the order. It's Travis, Emily, Alan, Jorge. And if you want to throw in some to Michael, throw them in. You'll be the bonus extra for the rounds. And we each pick 3, 12 total, because all that can fit on the graphic, right, Parker? Thank you. All right, Trav, you're up first.
I usually don't care if I get the first pick or not, but today I really wanted the first pick because
why? There's like 80 things to choose from.
There are, but I feel, and maybe you feel differently, Al, that the one person, I feel like Emily's eyeballs are going to snap out of her head every time this person's name is said out loud.
Yeah.
The eye roll is so hard, and just the contempt and disgust and just complete, absolute dislike of Aaron Rodgers is palpable. So Aaron Rodgers is my number 1 draft choice.
I would have picked it too. I think that is number 1 overall. That's the Wembanyama of
it's
my
the
hatred
for
draft.
Sure.
She doesn't like him, Michael. She just doesn't like him.
Why? I like Aaron. He's an independent thinker.
There you go.
Well, that's
Shouts
one word
out
for
to
it.
independent thinking. We all have the ability to do it.
That's right.
So I'm also jealous. He beat my Steelers in the Super Bowl.
That's it. That's
No, that's like number 39.
That's not even in the first notebook of
that's
reasons.
nowhere near.
That's the origin story, and then it builds from there. So my first pick on the draft. I think it's going to surprise some of you guys because I think mine's. Oh, hello! Wow, there is pizza
There
being
we
brought
go.
in.
More pizza.
Prime pizza.
Oh, it's prime
Thanks,
pizza.
Chris.
Very nice.
Look at all of that.
Amazing. We'll get into that a little later.
Save one for me.
Fantastic.
Save one, not the piece.
Okay, Michael, will you eat the piece or are you going to wait till later?
What do you mean, eat the pizza? I'm not pizza. I'm taking a pizza.
You want a whole pie?
Yeah, the whole
No,
pie.
this is my point. Is Michael? You don't eat. I never see this guy. You wait till
How many
he
pies
he
is
gets
that?
home.
Is that 6?
The grandmother pie. Square one is for M.
Okay.
Favorite, and then 4 others.
Oh,
Oh,
my
I
gosh.
appreciate
Let's
that.
go.
Thank you, Chris.
Thank you, Chris.
Michael, what time are you going to be at the Mandy's? 5 o'clock?
I'm out of town next
No,
week.
you're not.
Ooh,
No,
look
it's
at
too-
Michael.
luckily, it's 2 weeks from now, so you're perfect.
The 15th. I'm going to a wedding.
That's great.
It's not on the 15th.
That's perfect. The next week you'll be at the Mandy's on the 22nd.
Oh, is that when it is?
Yeah.
Oh, I got to fight that night. I do.
Okay. My first pick is going to be one. I think you guys think I'm going to go one person. I'm going to go someone else. The hatred of him has been longer. Hatred of him has been burned harder. I booed very harshly when he came to play my team. I'm going to go Grayson Allen. Grayson Allen, that little, you know what?
SOB.
He tripped a UVA player to beat UVA when I was in school in 2017, and I can't get over him. Grayson Allen is my first one off the board.
Okay.
All right, Al, you're first.
Michael, have you ever heard of a scooped bagel?
Do
you know what that is?
No, why would anybody mess with a bagel?
Okay.
Exactly.
So,
That's Emily's point.
wait. That's because like Emily's gonna hallucinate and I'm gonna let her explain it properly here. But I had never heard of a scooped bagel. I had no idea that people actually scoop part of the bread portion of the bagel. And Emily brought it up. Emily, why don't you explain what happens in L.A. and why this is a crime?
Apparently in LA, people order scooped bagels where they ask the person behind the counter to take a lovely, beautiful, fluffy bagel and take all the goodness, the fluffiness, the innards out of the bagel. So you just have the bagel crust, which is also a great part of the bagel. So all you have is the bagel crust. Just don't get a bagel. If you don't want the carbs, don't get a bagel. There are other things that are not with carbs at breakfast. So
Now,
yes.
Michael, I don't know where this is on your
The
list.
look on Michael's face, Lee, is priceless.
I don't know where this is on the
Deep,
list of
deep
things
confusion
that really
going on.
bother you. But this will be my number 1 pick based off
good
of
one.
what she just said because we know she really does not like people who scoop their bagels.
Got to be white people doing that.
It is
Yeah,
definitely
it
white
is.
people doing
It
that.
is. Brown and
You are
black ain't doing
100%.
The whole
Tell me,
bagel,
a
man.
Middle Eastern person
They're
is walking
expensive.
into a bagel
Right.
shop and saying, "Can you scoop my bagel?"
Yeah, come on.
Yeah,
That
it's
makes
white
no
LA
sense.
people doing that ish. All right, Jorge.
Why don't they scoop? They just scoop out the middle part of the hamburger too.
Exactly.
Right?
Take the meat out.
You got 2.
All right, so I get 2. As a parent, you hate this when kids go to the movie theater.
Oh.
You hate watching a movie when there's kids, when parents bring their kids.
That's
to the movie
great.
theater.
No, specifically a baby at a movie theater at a 6 p.m. showing of Civil War at Burbank. 6:30 showing that's an R-rated film that you're not allowed to bring kids to.
And number 2, the most recent one, it was the kickers from the Chiefs. What's his
Oh,
name?
Harrison Butker?
Yeah, that guy.
What happened?
Yeah, well, look it up. Yeah, I don't want to watch her head pop off her shoulders. That's
Shout
not a
out
good deal.
to free speech for that one. All right, Alan, you got a second.
He, too, is an independent thinker.
He is an independent thinker. Shut up.
Okay, you guys want a bunch of robots?
Yep.
Yeah, that's true. Michael, you're right about that. Okay,
If they're
so,
formed in my image.
Yeah, there you go.
And again, remember, this is her hate list.
Yeah.
So, okay, so I was going to go with one here, but I think I'll go away from it because you went Grayson Allen. I was going to go Duke in general, but since you did Grayson Allen, let me take Duke out of the mix because of that.
Okay.
I'll go with who could be potentially the next head coach of the Los Angeles Lakers. You know, I'm a big fan of Dan Hurley. I know that as well about you. Not exactly your favorite person. Every time that we've talked about him, and I think that's a perfect example of UConn kind of hate watching. Hey, I hate this individual in that program that I hope they lose. So Hurley is going to make my list here for another individual that you hate.
Definitely a individual that I really dislike. And just in terms of, like, I think that but I might learn to like him. I think if I buy into his juice, maybe I'll learn to like him. I think that's one.
When he's doing that for you,
Yeah.
it becomes a much more palatable thing.
Exactly. Okay, my second pick. I'm going to do one that I think people are going to be shocked that one guy's going to last a lot longer than he probably should. I'm going to go with Tom Cruise movies. I hate Tom Cruise movies. They all stink, and I just can't watch them. They're my least favorite genre of movie. He's a quote-unquote the greatest movie star we have. No, thank you. Jerry Maguire sucks. So Tom Cruise movies is my second pick.
What about Top Gun Maverick?
No, thank you. Will not see, have not seen.
Top Gun Maverick was horrible.
Horrible.
It was wonderful.
I'm still trying to figure out who the enemy is.
They never tell you. It's ambiguous.
Yeah, they're trying
It's
not
a video
to
game.
make anybody mad.
Michael,
by
what if
choosing
I
it.
told
Can't they just say Russia or Iran or somebody, the enemy?
No, they had
Who are we fighting?
little red stars. They're the bad guys have red stars.
Yeah, but
And counterpoint, Jennifer Connelly.
she's no Kelly McGillis.
I know.
All right, Charlie, get to picks.
All right, I'm very happy. I got my top 3. This makes me very happy. In no particular order. So I'm going to take this one because it's at the top of my very long checklist of the things that I had that you don't like. Small talk. The social grease that just kind of makes the universe run. So I know that Emily, you and I have worked together for a couple of years now, and I could feel the tension in your body when you and I had to take a 10-second elevator ride together because you thought I might say, good morning, Emily.
I don't dislike, I dislike small talk because I like talking about real things with people. So if I want to talk to you, I'd like to have a real conversation. And
So
I don't like
if I got into the elevator that morning, before I said, good morning, Em, how you doing? You would have just rather me say, so what's up with Hamas?
Yeah,
like,
yeah,
you
let's
just
talk
want me
about
to
that.
jump
Let's
right
get
into it?
Yeah, exactly.
All right, so
Right
I got my small talk, and
Don't
then
talk
this
to me
one.
about how you got here, what roads you took.
No, that's a California
Oh, because
thing.
there's no roads.
I'm with you. Freeways.
PCH.
Men's feet.
Yeah, no, thank you.
That she has a sandals / no-show socks thing that is really high on her list. So give me men's feet as my third choice.
Well, if we had a list of things she liked and men's feet was on there, that would be weird. So I'm glad this one made it on this list.
No, thank you. Okay, I'm gonna go with this guy because I've talked about him a lot. I've talked about his. Let's ride. Let's go. He is right now maybe my quarterback.
Yeah, you're gonna have to live with this guy.
Fun. I have to live with him. That's my quarterback. So Russell Wilson's gonna be my third. My things I hate list.
He'd be there.
Al, what about you?
Okay, final one for me is a personal one that one time I brought up and you hallucinated and didn't understand why I had it. And then it got me basically just more, how do I put this? I decided that I'm only going to use this app moving forward. Pandora.
Yeah.
That's a great one.
Pandora.
You're keeping them alive,
That's
Al.
terrific.
Absolutely hated that I used Pandora. I didn't even know what the hell was going on.
Michael, how do you listen to music?
YouTube music. YouTube
yeah.
music.
Okay.
I got everything downloaded and
Okay.
put my favorites on there.
Not Pandora.
What is that?
Pandora's been around forever.
It's an
like
inferior
Spotify.
streaming service for music that has been around since 2008, maybe since the
making
first
a
Obama
return.
administration.
If I told you that I
back,
listen to
it's making a
music
return.
through the Pandora app, would you judge me for this?
No. What's wrong with that?
I
It's
don't
the same
know,
music
but-
I listen to, right? You can get the same thing
No,
on
the
there.
quality's
Yes.
different.
No, the quality is not different. There's
Yes,
no
it is.
difference at all.
The streaming capability is more poor on Pandora. Anyway,
Interesting.
last one, Jorge.
The third and final pick, Jorge chooses Chris Pratt. Because he's on Garfield, he's on Mario, and he's Emmett for the Lego movie. And I know you have a...
Get off my screen, Chris Pratt. I like doing Parks and Recreation. You're great in Parks and Recreation. You were fantastic as Andy. I don't need you on every single animated feature. I don't need you on every single movie. You're not funny to me anymore.
That is a very limited list of the things that Emily hates. There are far more. We could do this draft every week for a year and not run out of things to pick. Good job, Em. And once again, happy birthday.
Happy birthday.
Thanks,
We,
guys.
we got Rabbit Hole coming up in just a little bit, plus more on the potential hire of Dan Hurley, because if you're doing a pros and cons, there are a whole bunch of really good reasons that Dan Hurley's the right choice. That's coming up next. It's Trav and Slee, 710 ESPN.
Travis and Sliwa on 710 ESPN.
You stay in Wonderland, and I show you how deep the rabbit hole goes.
There's no earthly way of knowing which direction we are going.
Nothing can possibly go wrong.
All right, quickly, congratulations to Ken Feldman from the Valley. He was caller number 7 on a Ticket Thursday, and he wins a pair of tickets to see Imagine Dragons on Saturday night, October 25th at the Hollywood Bowl. Imagine Dragons has a third show, a third night at the Bowl. Keep listening all day for your chance to win on a Ticket Thursday on 710 ESPN. That prime pizza hits in a very specific way. It is so good. And you got the square one or the rectangle one.
Yeah, you can have a piece of one.
I will take you up on that. That looks amazing. All right, can I go first on Rabbit Hole today, which I never asked to do?
See.
And we're going to get back to Dan Hurley in just one sec. The Minnesota Vikings dropped some new uniforms yesterday. They're, hold on, I want to get the name exactly right. It's an all-white uniform with a white helmet with the white little Viking horn on the side. They're called the Vikings Winter Warrior uniforms. They're incredible.
You like them?
I absolutely love them. All white.
Helmet?
White helmet, white jersey, white pants, purple number.
What color are the horns?
The white.
Purple?
White on white.
But you can't see the horns if
You
they're white.
can see the outline of it. Yeah. And the
little Washington Huskies.
a little bit. Not bad.
I don't like it.
I love the purple number on the front and the back, and it put me down the rabbit hole of looking at like all of these different NFL uniforms going all the way back to when I first kind of remember like early to mid 70s. And they change them occasionally, and there's just a handful of them that hit you in a very specific way that bring you back to a very specific time. The most time that I spent was looking at the old Denver Bronco ones. Remember when John Elway first came in? Mm-hmm. Orange jerseys with the blue helmet, with the big blue, the orange D with the horse reared up on its back legs. I spent, I don't know, a half an hour looking at old NFL uniforms thanks to the new Viking ones.
Amazing. Al, what's yours?
All right, Michael, I'm going to have to send you the link to this one, okay? Because you and I think, would be on the same page in this one. So there's a guy who does a podcast, been doing it for a while, the Sean Ryan Show. He has this is a rabbit hole, a retired Navy admiral and oceanographer that comes on his podcast. And the entire thing is basically talking about how there's definitely UFOs.
Oh, please.
There's definitely... what is it? What's the term that they're using? UAEs?
You a idiot.
It's a unidentified flying or aerial phenomenon. It's a UAP.
Yeah, UAP. That's what it is. UAP.
There are zillions of phones in this world, and nobody can get a.
The
UFO.
Navy got a pretty good picture of these.
Well, and that's what this is of. This is of just basically military personnel that are in certain areas, whether these are military that are in submarines or military that's over skies, like in San Diego, where they had the famous now it's the TikTok or whatever or Tic-Tac.
Yeah,
that it's called.
People, you guys are so gullible.
I think the gullible person is the one that thinks it's a bug on the windshield.
Getting into those rabbit holes, I got into this one. Fascinating stuff, interesting stuff. Michael, so I take it just no belief at all in any of that stuff?
Hey, Sliwa, I want to sell you 710 ESPN for $100. You want to buy it? You'll buy anything if you buy that crap. It's not UFO.
It's real.
You know what? There are unidentified flying objects. You just don't identify what the plane is. So there are those, but there's no aliens flying over it. Come on.
So
people don't understand the vastness of this universe?
Right.
That's exactly
the point.
Would it make
we don't know.
Would that make the case?
Yes,
it takes a trillion years to get to the nearest star. How a freaking alien gonna get here?
Yeah, if you're flying the space shuttle, but maybe they got stuff we don't know about. Maybe they're able to do it in 5 minutes. Right.
From Lilo and Stitch.
Yeah. No,
they could have that.
I only know it because I was reading a Lilo and Stitch book to this little girl I was babysitting for.
So if there are aliens flying around, when are they going to make contact?
Maybe they already have.
Okay. Well, who?
Well, that's what we don't know.
Yeah. Who's the strangest person in the station? Maybe that person's an alien.
They're going to unzip their face.
It might be
and reveal the lizard people.
It might be Ireland with that size of head of his. He looks like an alien.
Well, he has the brain that's outside of the actual skull.
Most knowledgeable.
That's right.
There you go.
All right, Jorge, what's yours?
All right, so if you guys know 2 things about me is I like my football and I like cameras and stuff like that. So there's bad boys indeed. There's this guy. His name is Miles, and he's from the Expired Film Club. You can follow him at the Expired Film Club on Twitter. So basically, this guy goes around with different types of cameras. The last video I saw, he's got a 127-year-old camera with film, and he goes around shooting like big matches such as the Manchester United games, Bayern Munich, Real Madrid, you name it. Arsenal games. Yeah, so he takes different types of cameras, lenses, film, and I think he shot something on the 8mm. And Emily, I know you would appreciate some of these shots.
Yeah.
I've texted you guys a link of this guy, and his work is incredible.
It looks super cool. I love seeing stuff taken on old cameras because it's funny because you see a modern thing look very old and dated. It just like is a little off-putting.
Yeah, Michael and Travis knows they know the cameras that these guys are using.
I got the one where you had to put the black curtain over your head and it goes boom when you take a picture.
Powder and everything. Yeah, I like those.
Brings back fond memories, doesn't it?
So it would have too much headroom. So mine is Dan Hurley specifically. I've just been, ever since this morning when Jorge texted us when I woke up and I saw the text, and that Dan Hurley may or may not be the Lakers head coach. They're on the 1 yard line, maybe, who knows. But just get into these videos of just every single photo of Dan Hurley is him screaming. And then all these videos of him just like berating his players, berating the media, berating like the people in the crowd. And I've just been like, wow, this is who the Lakers really want to represent, the Los Angeles Lakers. It's this guy yelling at everybody.
So it's funny that this brings me to one of the things that I really do like about the Dan Hurley potential hire. I think one of the things that the Lakers could really use, and this goes, by the way, and you said it a second ago, Michael, that LeBron James is always in shape. He's always prepared. Right. He studies. Like there's no, hey, I'm going to try to get LeBron to work harder. No. LeBron is a 10 out of 10 on the work ethic.
Way ahead of the game.
Way ahead of it. But what I think is incredibly interesting and exciting, and what I think this guy could do, he's going to push people out of their comfort zone. Mm-hmm. He's going to make people do things, think about and I'm not necessarily just the players. I'm talking every media, just across the board. He is an abrasive, prickly personality, and it's not a put on. It's not like, hey, I'm going to do this to keep people at an arm's distance. Like I think Greg Popovich is an abrasive, but I think it's mostly a performance. He's a great coach, but I think he's just, I don't want to do this stuff, so I'm just going to do it so nobody asks me to do it. This guy is a hot wire. He's a live wire. Mm-hmm. I think that's potentially a really good thing for the Lakers, assuming he doesn't electrocute everybody in the process. That if it's just I'm going to push you into new places that maybe you didn't think you can go, I'm going to get you there. Yeah. I really like that part.
Yeah, fun and games are over. He's going to hold players accountable. If you you blow assignments, you don't defend and hustle the way you're supposed to, you can come sit over here with me. I like that in coaches.
Go ahead,
this comp. So Ramona was texting the both of us. I don't know if you saw Trav, but she said Hurley equals Spoelstra. I mean, can you find another compliment? And the reason why I think that's interesting is every time we talk about coaches in the NBA, every time. Right now, the coach that everyone sits back and says, you see what Eric Spoelstra's doing over there? Oh, my God, how does Spoelstra get that team this far? He is literally the face, and I'm not saying that there aren't other great NBA coaches that are out there, but Eric Spoelstra's name comes up so often I think there's the Athletic that does the players voting of best coach in the NBA. He wins it by far. I think, Michael, one of the coaches you mentioned earlier, Michael Malone, he was second on that list.
Yeah.
But to get that kind of praise.
Big missing part of that, though. Yeah. There's a big missing part of that.
Personality?
No, not necessarily. LeBron James did not like Eric Spoelstra. Now, LeBron was in a different spot in his career, but when he first got there, and he went to Pat Riley and said, hey, this ain't working out.
But he wanted to coach? He wanted to take over? Pat Riley.
I understand.
How do you think that was going to work?
Hold on a second. What happened was Pat Riley, who is as self-assured and confident and has and he's Pat Riley. Right. Pat Riley said, no, go back. He's your guy. Right. There was somebody saying, dude, beat it. This is the guy. Who's that guy in this situation?
For the Lakers?
Yeah.
Isn't it Jeannie? The boss? The owner?
Oh, sure.
She's going
to tell him to go back to work and beat it?
I'll tell you who it's supposed to be. This is the way it's supposed to be.
I have a ton of doubt about that.
It's supposed to be Pelinka.
Yes.
The person you're talking about is supposed to be technically, by definition of the job, it would be Pelinka.
And the gravitas of Pat Riley versus Rob Pelinka is night and day. That's the missing piece of this. So if somebody bucks and says, hey, man, this sucks. Who's the person that says, I don't care what you think, go back down there and work?
And he can say that because he knows Genie's going to back him up.
We'll see. They've changed the coach every 2 years, Michael.
LeBron's not going to do it. He's much more mature now.
I don't think LeBron is going to be the person to do it. But what happens
who
when
else is
LeBron-
going to do it?
Well,
or dare do it?
I mean, there are other people.
There's
There
only
are
one
other
other guy, and he ain't going to do it.
Maybe not. But then there's the next wave of this. And my point is that this idea that the Lakers are going to dig their heels in and be steadfast in these ideas, there's no evidence to that. They've changed the coach every 2 years for the last decade.
The difference
they don't
could be here?
dig in.
Here's the difference would be that this would be the biggest investment that they've made for a coach since Phil. Right? This is
Financial investment you're talking about.
Financial, longest term, here are the keys. Because all these other coaches, I mean, part of the reason why they got Frank Vogel is because they didn't want to offer Ty Lue what he was asking for. Or, hey, you're not going to get the assistants that you're looking for. If you're getting this specific coach, you're basically saying, here are the keys. Figure it out, and we're going to try to get you what we can from the front office perspective.
What would be amazing is if what you're saying is he is the next big thing, that he's the next, hey, this guy's just got to figure it out. If he hits the ground running and starts working right away, and now all of a sudden he has equity, he has buy-in, he has a track record, he has all of those things that even the most critical among whoever may be looking at it saying, I don't like this, it's like, stuff works. What do you want me to do? We're winning a bunch of games. We're executing at the end of games. We're in great shape, or whatever the bar that they're trying to clear is. That if it works, who can say anything?
That's right.
And if it comes in right away and it starts, because the Heat, shortly after, they got off to a little bit of a slow start, and he said, no, go back to work. Yeah. Then they kind of hit their stride and they went to the finals 4 years in a row. Nobody's going to say anything. That's so if you can get something similar to that and get the results, then there is no bucking. But at the beginning, that's the part that I worry about.
Well, and here's the difference. I mean, this is why making these comparisons, it's you got to be careful when we make some of these comparisons. Miami also, that organization, because Pat Riley is there, they are putting the right players. I mean, it was just Pat Riley talking about Jimmy Butler. Yeah. Wasn't he just throwing Jimmy Butler not under the bus? He was just being honest. Yeah, he's just and there's a contract negotiation starting with that, and there's no guarantee Jimmy Butler's going to get that money. How many execs can do that? Not that many that stand there and say, that's our star player, I don't care. That's a stupid comment, and we need him to play more if we're going to pay him.
If you want to get paid, you got to play like the guy that's going to not play 50 games.
Exactly.
Yeah. But again, the list of guys that can do that, and everybody goes, yeah, I guess I better do it. It's not a long list. Riley's certainly on it.
I think a lot of GMs could do it if they manned up and stop being scared of the players.
But they are scared of the players.
Then you ain't a man.
But you're asking somebody to do a thing that they don't typically do. They're not going to do one thing 9 times and on the 10th do the different thing. They are who they are.
Act like a boss.
But they don't.
Come on. Doesn't Andrew Friedman act like the boss of the Dodgers?
Okay, I'm glad you brought that up. We'll talk about this in the dump next, because I think the 3 cultures of the 3 big teams here are very different. 2 of them work well. 1 of them works far less well. That's coming up next. The dump, little super crosstalk on Emily's birthday day. It's Travis Lee, 710 ESPN.
Yes, it's time for the dump.
So we know this has kind of gotten lost in the Dan Hurley of it all, the NBA Finals of it all, but I just really want to point out that there is history being made tonight on the NBA broadcast. Tonight, Doris Burke will be the first woman to call any major men's championship in the United States in the history of broadcasting. And I think that is something that really means a lot to me, because growing up, I always pictured myself in this role. What I wanted to be when I grew up
in the sports universe
was a sports universe, but I wanted to be either be on a show, like a sports radio show, sportscaster, or I wanted to be like on a broadcast, like a play-by-play or color, probably play-by-play at that time. And I looked up to these people and listened to these people all the time, and I just never pictured me there. There was never anybody that looked like me. There's a woman out there, and so it really means a lot to me to have her not to say anything against, but she's calling a men's sport.
Yeah.
I think is a big deal. And that she's gotten there not because of anything, but she's there because she is the best person at that job, or one of the best people at this job. And so that's really important to me.
Yeah, I'm glad you brought it up, because there are some times where there are firsts that can feel a little bit cheeky. They can feel a little bit like, hey, why don't we be the first? Why don't we kind of a little bit like that? There's none of that in this. This is all, she's put in her dues. She's done all the time. She knows what she's talking about, and she's an easy listen. It's all of those things.
Yeah, and then she gets, the same
Why are you making a face, Michael?
That men get, too.
Should have never got rid of Jackson and Van Gundy. They were great.
That's true. They are very good.
What does one have to do with the other? They did. They had to replace it.
I thought they were so much fun to listen to.
They were really good on the broadcast.
They were like Barkley and Shaq on the inside, and if the game was going on, they'd inject things and make you laugh.
Van Gundy would. I don't think Mark Jackson ever put a single smile on my face.
I like Mark.
Yeah, I don't know Mark as a human being. I'm telling you, just as listening to him, never really hit me in that way.
I like Mike Breen.
Yeah, Mike Breen. Bang.
He's a legend. Right?
Now, Doris is phenomenal, and what a cool event for her, and in general, you said in the history of broadcasting, that's amazing.
You guys know I'm a baseball guy, and I can watch any baseball game any night and enjoy it, but it's pretty rare where you get a mid or early June baseball game that's like, you got to check it out. And yesterday, Paul Skeens against Ohtani was one of those you got to check it out moments, and they both got exactly what I think we were hoping to see. Skeens struck him out on 3 100-mile-an-hour fastballs in his first at-bat, and then Ohtani hit one 900 feet over the center field wall in a later at-bat.
It was just smiling.
It was just wonderful to watch. It was just super fun.
But how about the one that Chapman struck out Ohtani on? Ohtani looked like, should I swing or not? With the inside kind of pitch,
10,000 miles an hour.
I know.
Too.
It's like, whoa.
Yep. 2 pitches at 104
Okay, Trav,
miles an hour.
give your theory of some of these.
Okay,
we were talking about a little bit earlier.
Last night, when Aroldis Chapman's 36 years old.
36.
Yeah,
okay,
36.
He's towards the end of his career.
Not the way he's throwing.
He had the following. He had the following sequence against Kike Hernandez last night: 100, 99, 103. 103, 104, 104.
What's that like, Travis? You play baseball. What's that like to see 104 pitches, 104 miles?
Or can you see it?
I've never even come close to seeing anybody throw 104 miles an hour last night. By the way, was the fastest pitch thrown in the big leagues this season. Yeah. Last night, he threw it twice back to back after touching 103. Something has to change, because while this is cool to look at occasionally, Derek Shelton, the manager of the Pirates, said after the game, he goes, there used to be a time where you could list the guys who could throw 100 on one hand. We knew who all they were. He goes, everybody in baseball throws this hard.
So right, everybody's got 2 or 3 of those guys.
Right.
So what's got to change?
I think they got to move the mound back.
No.
Yes.
Come on, Trav.
Why?
It's extreme. Why, Trav?
Well, I don't think they'll move it back.
Because nobody gets any hits.
Wait, I don't think they'll move it back.
It was
10-6
yesterday.
I think they would lower the mound. I don't think they would move it back.
Maybe lowering the mound, as they've done that before. Maybe that's it. But that extra foot, let's say you move it back a foot. Let's say you move it back 18 inches. That every guy.
That's such a radical change.
I understand it is. But by the way, you know what else they do? They have ghost runners.
Yeah.
They've had radical change. They've done some of these things that you would have said baseball will never do that. I understand this is a little bit more extreme. All of these guys are blowing their arms out because...
So it's 60 feet 6 inches.
Yeah.
What'd you move it to?
61 feet 6 inches. Move it back. By the way, it's only this much.
Yeah,
it's
but wait,
not
Trav,
like you're moving it back
this
to second
would be
base.
like the equivalent of they say it's too easy to dunk now, of raising the rim to 11 feet.
Okay.
The problem that the solution you're suggesting is every high school mound in the country is 60 feet 6 inches. every college mound, every minor league mound.
Sure.
I mean, it's just a massive change.
It's
I
a
can
big
see
change,
him lowering
but
the mound, but I can't see him changing the
get a
weight.
shovel,
Happens to the guys
dig
that
it up
aren't-
and move
what
it back a
happens to the
foot.
what happens to the pitchers that aren't throwing 103, 104?
Then they figure new ways to get guys out, and you get more offense, and it becomes more fun. They move the 3-point line. They've moved barriers before. They've moved things along the way.
I know, but don't fans like to see 104 miles an hour?
Occasionally. But the problem is it used to be Nolan Ryan threw 100.
Yeah.
He was the only one. Okay, now guys that you don't even know their names are coming in throwing 100 miles an hour.
I think the record for fastest pitch in the game is 105, if I'm not mistaken. 105,
Maybe.
I think.
I mean, he was just saying for this year.
For this year,
I know.
and back to back. And by the he threw 4 consecutive pitches. They were
How's
all
he doing that
103
at
or more.
36?
Well,
he's built like a horse.
He's a big dude,
strong guy.
He is a very, very big dude.
Take those vitamins.
I want to play this for you,
What are
Michael.
you trying to say, Sliwa?
This will
trying to say that I wish I had multivitamins.
Fred Flintstones?
Yeah,
Today is the anniversary of this happening in the NBA Finals.
Here's Kareem, outlet to Worthy. Rambis. And now let's watch it. Cooper and the Celtics, and now the bench is empty. As Larry Bird helps Kurt Rambis up, he was decked by 2 Celtics and hit the floor hard, and both benches have emptied. And you knew this was going to happen. You could see it coming.
Well, there's a strategy in the NBA. By
This is
some
my favorite part.
coaches, don't let the other team make a layup, make them shoot the free throws. We saw a lot of that in the prior series against New York.
All right, so it goes on.
Tommy
a little
Heinsohn
bit. I was
apologizing
just
for
going to
it.
say that for those that don't know, you can't give up layups in the NBA. That is the voice of Tommy Heinsohn, who is a Celtics Hall of Famer, calling the finals. That Rambis nearly had his neck broke.
By the way, you know what the end result of that call was?
2 shots.
That's it.
That was a McHale foul.
Yes,
Yeah.
that's McHale clotheslining Rambis.
No technical, no ejections.
The bench
no-
is cleared.
Yeah.
There weren't a ton of punches thrown, but the bench is cleared. Rambis nearly died.
Yeah.
Okay, and the penalty was 1 shot or 2 shots.
Doesn't Andy Bernstein...
Michael, were you on the Lakers yet?
No, I wasn't there yet. But Andy Bernstein, the great legendary photographer, got to have a photograph of that somewhere, right?
Oh,
when Rambis sprayed on the air.
The thing that happened too was I heard that Kareem uncharacteristically kind of lost it after that. And
In the moment or
and
after
got-
the game?
No, in the moment.
Okay.
And then and the Lakers kind of got taken out of their game. And then a couple of years later, Michael, were you on the team the year of the Memorial Day Massacre?
No, I was watching.
Okay, you weren't there yet. So then...
Otherwise, they wouldn't have lost.
Yeah, so...
Sure.
They lose 148. I think this was 1985. That was in 84. When
was.
Rambis got
Yeah.
decapitated. And then in 85...
That game won in Boston,
the
right, John?
the Lakers get the rematch that they're looking for. In 84, the Lakers won 3 games by an average of 17 points a game, and they lost 4 games by an average of 6. So if you're a Laker fan, you were convinced we have a better team. So we get the rematch. 85. First game, 148-114 Celtics. Michael, who was that one white guy for the Scott Wedman?
Scott Wedman.
Went 11 for 11.
That's right.
Yeah.
And after the game, there's a famous story that Kareem, who was kind of quiet, stood up in the locker room and said, "Guys, this was completely my fault. We're not going out like this." And the next game, I guess Pat Riley, Michael, you know better than me. Pat Riley had a strict rule that no family on the bus.
Right.
The bus was kind of sacred. And so Riley goes and gets on the bus the next day, and sitting next to Kareem on the bus for game 2 is his father, who was a New York City police officer. And tough as nails, and everybody's like, you can't do that, Kareem, blah, blah, blah. And Riley gets on the bus, and he looks at Kareem, and he looks at his dad, and Riley kind of smiles, and he sits down, and he says to Bill Burtka, he goes, "We're not losing this game." Kareem, I've never even seen Kareem with his dad. The fact that Kareem would put his dad on the bus
Without asking Pat Riley.
without asking Riles, and Riley then threw out his pregame speech. This is in Gary Vidi's book. Vidi does a really good job of trying. Threw out his pregame speech and told a story about the last time he saw his dad. Riley saw his own dad. I think it might have been at his own wedding, and his dad said, he goes, "I don't know when it's going to happen, but there are times in your life where a man has to plant his feet and stand up. And whether it's you just got your ass kicked, whether somebody is hurting someone in your family, but when it's time to do that, don't let it slip. And that's the speech Riley gave before Game 2. And the Lakers beat him and then knocked him out in 6. And Kareem was a monster after Game 1. Nobody could guard him. And and by the way, I guess like they didn't make Kareem do all the drills in practice because I wanted to save his energy for the games. I guess in practice the next week, Kareem was like running the lines, doing every drill. He was like, we're not going out like this. And Michael, what made me think of it was you've always told me that you'd much rather lose by 30 than lose at the buzzer by 1.
Oh, yeah.
And
I agree
think
with
that's
that.
one of the reasons why, right? Because if you get your ass kicked, it wakes you up.
Oh, definitely.
His old Woody Hayes line, there's nothing like getting the hell kicked out of you that cleanses your soul. And the Lakers got the hell kicked out of them.
They got humbled.
And then
Woke 'em
then
up.
came back and won.
Kurt Rambis got his face torn off and his neck nearly broke. Of all of the things in that moment,
Just
that
a
he
regular
didn't
foul.
get hurt is
Well,
amazing.
Rambis was a tough guy. I don't know if Michael's heard this story, but have you ever heard James Worthy talk about his first practice as a Laker?
No.
Walks into the gym, number 1 overall pick out of North Carolina, All-American. He walks in, and the Lakers have Kurt Rambis starting at one forward and Jamal Wilkes at the other. And Worthy walks into practice, and he goes, that guy Rambis, I'll just take his job. I'm good enough to start as a rookie. And he said after 25 minutes, Rambis had beat the crap out of him, and he goes, I think I'll be a small forward.
That's right.
And I asked Kurt about it once, and Kurt said, I didn't want him taking my job.
I got to ask if that. Okay, this tonight. Let's pick some. Porzingis clotheslines Doncic like this.
Suspended for the series.
He's done, right?
Right.
I mean, he's out for the series, maybe.
At
and
least a couple games.
God knows how much he's fined along the way. One foul. A two-shot foul.
Yeah.
One foul.
Everything changed with the Malice in the Palace.
Yeah.
There's now you can't get like when Michael played. Sports Illustrated once did a cover story on enforcers in the league.
Maurice
with
Lucas, Truck Robinson,
Lonnie Shelton.
Yeah, those guys.
Like guys you didn't want to fight. And then the Rudy T thing was the first step when Rudy T got his face caved in by Kermit, and then
it was bad for business.
Malice in the Palace happened, and they said, all right, we're stopping all of it.
Michael, through the 70s and the early part of the 80s, and maybe mostly over by the mid-80s, there were fights in the NBA kind of similar to the way they were in hockey. Like, they were not the least bit uncommon. They would happen frequently.
There was no woofing when I came in the league, boy. I learned right away. I ain't talking trash to none of these brothers because these brothers going to swing on you. It's not even a technical foul.
Look this up on YouTube. Early in his career, maybe in his rookie season, Larry Bird's playing Dr. J.
Two of the nicest, Doc, the nicest guy in the league.
And Doc had a reputation of being, like the ambassador for the league. And Bird,
the Wayne Gretzky.
And Bird, anybody, Michael will back me up on this. Bird was like the league's best trash talker. He just would not shut up.
Right.
And so Bird's making everything, and Dr. J's having a bad game. And so, like, fourth quarter comes around, and Bird looks at Dr. J and goes, I've outscored you 42-6, Doc. Are you going to start playing in this game? And Irving just punches him in the face. and a fight breaks out. And I'm not even sure those guys got ejected.
You're right.
Trav, it was side out of bounds. Let's keep this moving.
Who was the heavyweight champ of the world? Like, who was it Maurice Lucas?
Back in my day?
Yeah.
Who was the one guy? Like, who?
The Charles Oakley.
Michael, right now it's James Johnson, who's like an actual MMA fighter. Yeah. Who was James Johnson in your day?
Yeah, there are two guys in the NBA now. Don't start a fight with them because you're gonna lose. Steven Adams and James Johnson.
Okay,
that's just don't mess with them. You try to act tough, but leave those two guys alone. In my day, I could name you 15, 20 guys.
Give me a few.
Truck Robinson, Maurice Lucas,
Lonnie Shelton was a big dude.
Believe it or not, Calvin Murphy, 5'9",
really?
160. Nobody messed
Were
with
there
Calvin.
did a big guy? Because in hockey, tough guys fight tough guys.
He knocked out Artis Gilmore, 7'2", 270.
And Calvin Murphy liked to fight.
Yeah.
Like if you wanted a piece of him, you wouldn't have to go far.
And of course, the one guy Lonnie Shelton was another one.
What about some of the Pistons players, Michael?
No, those guys Lambert and those guys. They weren't going to fight. Lambert couldn't fight.
Mahorn could though, right?
Who?
Mahorn, yeah.
Charles Oakley hold his own in
Charles
that.
Oakley's a tough fighter, yeah. But when I came into the league as a young player, Lonnie Shelton, nobody messed with him. And who else? Another one was after the Rudy T thing, Kermit Washington. Everybody said stay away from Kermit because Kermit said, you know what?
They did suspend Kermit.
Yeah,
that was
60 games.
Wait, nearly
but
killed him.
Kermit was scary. Because Kermit would say, I'm not going to fight you on the court. I'm going to meet you at your car afterwards. Hey, I think won't mess with that one. How about that? And you know what? He meant it.
Or you know what we should do? Not meet at our cars after the show. We should do some Supercross talk.
ESPN AM 710 Los Angeles. KRDC AM 1110 Pasadena, Los Angeles.
K256CX 99.1 FM Pasadena, Los Angeles.
It's the greatest segment in LA sports radio history.
Oh my God. When the shows come together for magic on the radio.
It will only grow stronger. Super Crosstalk.
Are we ready for Mason and Ireland to join Travis and Slee?
Super Crosstalk begins.
Super Crosstalk presented by In-N-Out Burger. In-N-Out. That's what a hamburger is all about.
It's time for Super Crosstalk.
What is that?
Pepe. That's Pepe going.
That sounded like someone was getting injured.
So wait a minute, Sliwa, you got COVID. Give us your symptoms. Have you lost your taste? Have you lost your sense of humor? What?
Wait, Slee, you have COVID right now?
Yeah.
I think Mace might have it.
Yeah,
it's going around again. Worthy had it 2 weeks ago.
Yeah, I tested 2 days ago. I've been basically since Friday night. I've been just zero energy. So, Michael, you said symptoms?
Yeah.
No energy at all.
That's it. But you still got your taste.
Still got my taste. Yeah, that part's not an issue. But just a lot of you kind of get up for a little bit and you're like, I'm going to go lay back down.
How did you know it was the COVID, not just a regular flu?
I took a test.
Oh.
Yeah, and I to be honest with you, I didn't even really pay attention. I just figured I had a flu. But I still have some of those kits that everybody had when COVID was COVID.
So you took a home test and you tested
took one
positive?
The home test. Yeah.
Yeah. I took one in Idaho when I was feeling run down. I tested negative.
How did you catch it?
Well, it's going around. There's a strain going around.
It didn't go away.
I thought you had to touch people to catch it.
No, like the other night we were all at a movie premiere.
What internet sites are you reading, Michael?
Well, you do need to, it does need to transmit.
I understand, but it doesn't have to be.
Wrong.
I don't have to stick my hands in his mouth for him to catch it.
When I leave the show, when I leave the show, I give everyone a kiss on each side of the cheek.
This is the sort of free thinking I worry about with you, Michael. That you're. Anyway.
No wonder I don't want to be around people.
What's the timeline? Like in the middle of the night, Woj drops the Woj bomb, and all of a sudden it feels like we're at the 1 inch line. Do we have any insight as to a potential timeline?
I have been told by people who would know to slow my roll on Dan Hurley.
Okay.
That whereas the story is accurate that the Lakers are targeting him, they are not near the finish line.
Okay.
So how much are they going to pay him to pry him from UConn?
That is yet to be discussed.
I say $15 a year.
I don't know if it'll be that much.
What does a guy like Kerr or
Kerr's
Popovich make?
Popovich making 18. Kerr's 17.
Okay.
Spoelstra's
making 15.
But that needs to be resolved, and there are other issues that, I've been talking to people all morning. As of earlier this morning, he had not made contact with Anthony Davis yet. So, you've got to check that box.
Sure.
LeBron's a fan, as
clearly.
we've been talking about. But there's some room to go. Now, having said that, having put that precursor, I just love this idea.
I do too.
I just think it's brilliant.
I do too.
And if they can bring this home, by the way, here's what I would compare it to. We do sports graffiti every day. And as kind of a running joke, so sports graffiti, for people who don't know, is an unscreened phone segment where we do it every day at 2 o'clock. You can just call in and say whatever you want. So we don't know what you're going to say, and we can't screen people out. And at least one person every day takes a shot at Rob Pelinka.
Okay.
If Rob pulls this off, it will be the equivalent of when Carol Folt hired Lincoln Riley. Carol Folt used to get hammered at this station. And the athletic directors, whoever they were, Lynn Swan, Mike Bone, those people were like the Miss Smithers on The Simpsons. Those guys are just incompetent boobs.
Excellent.
Yeah. Now, as the day Carol Folt hired Lincoln Riley, all of the pressure was removed from Carol Folt and thrown right at the coach.
Yep.
And if Rob pulls this off, if he lands Danny Hurley, you can no longer blame the front office. This is, by any measure, a brilliant hire.
I agree,
it becomes
John.
the coach.
And here's what I want to get to next, because I'm with you. I started the show by saying I absolutely love it. I think it's a brilliant idea. I think it serves all of the boxes simultaneously. It serves the present. It serves the future. It serves the development. It's somebody that your best player obviously has a great deal of respect. It checks every box. Was this the result of an incredibly delicate, sophisticated, strategic negotiation that was kept incredibly private until this morning, or was this a late developing thing that they're like, hey, you know who we should call before we do anything else is Dan Hurley, and it accelerated really quickly from there?
It's a good question. I don't know the answer. I think it'll all come out if he ends up getting hired. But here's one good thing if you work for the Lakers that, especially at the highest levels, you should feel good about. You don't have any leaks. Because nobody knew this.
That's what I'm saying.
Nobody knew this. The only time, Michael, I can ever remember this happening is we were traveling. We were in the middle of a trip. And we walked downstairs in Toronto one day. And one of the trainers walked up to me and goes, we just traded for Pau Gasol. There was none of us knew. We were in the middle of a road trip. Normally there's 19 rumors about the Lakers every single day. They were able to keep it completely quiet, and this is the second time I've seen them do it.
Here's why I think it makes such a difference depending on which of those two things is true.
Right.
That if it was done really quietly with great secrecy, and it speaks to me of vision, of plan, of tactical, strategic thinking of this is our guy. Let everybody scream about J.J. Redick. Let him. We're over here. We're going to do this. We're not going to shut the J.J. thing down because it's to our benefit to kind of draw some attention away. But this guy's our guy for today. He's our guy for tomorrow. It speaks to vision and planning. If it's just a Hail Mary, how many Hail Marys? Now, maybe you can hit one every once in a while. You might win a game, but you can't rely on a strategy of Hail Marys. And if it's just a Hail Mary, while it worked and it's exciting and maybe you get the right guy, if the game plan is let's throw Hail Marys, it doesn't fill me with the same amount of confidence.
I think, again, if he gets hired, I think it'll all come out. Like, so we can ask questions like, when did this process start?
Yeah.
When did you narrow it in? One thing about the Lakers, and they're pretty consistent about this, they don't pay a lot of attention to what happens outside their building.
Mm-hmm.
They don't care what the media says or reports because they don't comment on it. I remember when Frank Vogel was fired, that story leaked on a Friday morning. And on Monday, when the Lakers actually fired him, somebody asked, I think it was Rob, but somebody asked somebody in the front office, why did you let this twist in the wind over the weekend? And the answer was really simple. It's like, we pay zero attention to the media. We just don't think that's part of what we should concern ourselves with. And so they don't talk a lot. And if they kept this under wraps for the better part of 2 months, they should feel really good about their process because I can't believe this didn't leak.
If it's by design, it's brilliant.
Right.
It's absolutely brilliant. And
do you know how many people were trying to figure out who the next coach of the Lakers was? Like
everybody.
Shams, Woj,
everybody said JJ. We listened to a podcast yesterday with
my gosh.
Woj, you talk about how Shams and Woj battle for stories. Woj may have just won the war. What a day for him.
Adam Wojbaum. Last one before we hand it over to you guys. Like I said, I love it. The prickly, was that the word, Michael?
Yeah.
The prickly nature of Dan Hurley with pros.
Malone.
I love it. I love, like Michael says, I love Michael Malone. I like Pat Riley. I like coaches that get in your face. I think those are the coaches that get results. Michael played for one of them. Pat Riley.
Jack Ramsey.
Pat Riley was not going to put up with BS. There's a story that LeBron reached out to Riles early in his tenure there and said, "Hey, now that we have me and Wade and Bosh, you have to come out of the front office and coach us." And he said, "Eric Spoelstra's the coach. Get out of my office."
Yeah, that's one of my few concerns about this, John. That if somebody, again, there's not a ton of guys that would have the gravitas to pull it off, but if that scenario you just described, hey, listen, I'm not loving this.
Right?
Who says go back to work? He's your guy.
Well, if they hire Danny and give him this big contract they're talking about giving him, then I think that speaks volumes.
Rob with the backing of Genie.
And by the way,
that's right.
I think if they did I think if they did give him, like, Monty Williams got a 6-year deal for like $80 million.
Yeah.
If they give Danny that outlives LeBron.
Oh yeah.
And Whereas I'm not trying to be naive here. A big part of being a successful NBA coach is that you get along with your best player. It might even be more important than anything else. But if you've got that, if you've got 6 years guaranteed,
helps.
Coach isn't going anywhere.
It helps.
Most important thing is you have to have the respect of your best player. Not to get along. I don't want to be your friend, but you have the respect.
There has to be respect. There has to be collaboration, and there has to be there cannot be open warfare.
No.
There has to be some sort of collaboration. Super Crosstalk is brought to you by In-N-Out. That's what a hamburger's all about.